Being a teenager is tough.
There's the constant pressure to be liked.
Endless worrying about college.
Cyberbullying, high expectations, all the negativity.
There's no question. Being a teenager is tough. And what do Wisconsin's teens do when they want to block out the noise and clear their heads?
We play!
Yeah! Research shows that teenagers who participate in high school sports have lower stress levels, more confidence, and greater self-esteem. And then there's the biggest benefit of all.
High school sports are fun.
Not just fun.
They're a lot of fun.
Encourage your teenagers to participate in a sport or activity when they go to high school. They'll stress less and smile more. And they'll be laying the foundation for a happier, healthier future.
This message presented by the Wisconsin Interscholastic Athletic Association and the Wisconsin Athletic Directors Association.
I'm Doug Russell. No series sweep for the local 9.
As Jeffers slams one high and deep to left field, back it goes, and that is gone. On a breaking ball, Ryan Jeffers with his 7th home run, and the Twins answer back and lead 4-3.
The Brewers do take 2 of 3 from Minnesota, 5-4 the final score from Target Field on Sunday. The Crew at Chicago for 3 with the Cubs starting tonight at 6:40. Elsewhere in the Central, bad day for the division. Everyone else lost. The Cubs fall to the White Sox 9-8. The Cardinals lose to the Royals 2-0. The Reds fall to the Guardians 10-3. The Pirates get dumped by the Phillies 6-0. NBA playoffs, Cleveland is moving on. The Cavaliers beat up on the Pistons 125-94. The Cavs move on to the Eastern Conference Finals against the Knicks. Coming up tonight, the Western Conference Finals gets underway between the Spurs and the Thunder. The Huddle starts now. I'm Doug Russell on Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin.
Good morning, Wisconsin, and welcome to the Huddle.
I'm all for someone huddling if you have something to say.
It's time to wake up and talk about the teams you love.
Everybody wake up! Everybody wake up!
With the guys you love.
It's just about getting the group together. I need you, you need me today. Let's keep touching each other. Let's make sure we feel each other. Let's make sure we smell each other's breath.
Watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
You need 15 or 20 huddles to correlate with the number of cameras. Take the cameras off the field, then there'll be no huddles.
Now gather around because it's time to huddle up.
West left slot, 323 wide stick on 1. Ready, Biller, for blitz. If it looks like man coverage, I'll check. I'll go 200 yes. You got to cut and crack. Now cut and crack. Red, right, 18, Bob on 1. Ready, cut him and crack.
If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here and try to run this play in the alley.
We know exactly what we got to do. All right? That's all we're going down to. Let's go out and kick some tape. All right? 1, 2, 3. Keep doing what you're doing. Get our guys after and make the play. Be right all the way outside. Wide, left, fake, 396 bag, D hand, C puck. Is that long enough for you?
I want you to be proud of your profession. It's a great profession. Go out there and play this ball game like I know you can play it.
With Drew Olson,
Mythical, legendary figure.
Bill Schmid.
Oh, my God. This man's been out all night.
And Armen Sarian.
This is it. Don't get scared now.
Sanchez, we ready?
Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin is on the air.
All aboard. The Monday Express is leaving the station here in the Huddle. Welcome to headquarters. Welcome to the work week. Drew, Billy, and Armen bringing it to you. 920 Milwaukee, 1070 Madison, everywhere on that iHeart app of yours. Streaming live for the early risers, insomniacs, sociopaths who are up with us on Facebook, X, and the YouTube. Special wake up. Maybe people are already waking up early in the 608 because a special weather statement has been issued for Sun Prairie, Stoughton, and Oregon until 5:45 a.m. High winds and big half-inch hail.
Goodness gracious.
Welcome to Monday, folks.
Gosh.
Buckle up. Grab your ankles. Here comes Monday.
There's some good news for us. The quarter-inch size hail is the one that will shock the nervous system maybe a little bit more. But okay, let's get through this and huddle up. We'll be your weather alert radio. Do those still get all normal stations, or is that only National Weather Service, the one that you see advertised right there during all of the storm freakouts on?
Even
on
though my
12?
buddies in the meteorological world tell me to have a weather radio, I don't have one. I barely even have a radio. I stream everything.
I was going to say, I don't know if I have one.
I got a confession to make. I don't have my weather radio anymore either. weather. Okay, once upon a time,
Do you have a transistor?
That blows my mind.
Once upon a time, and when I was growing up, we had the radio in the second drawer, the basement desk my dad had. Okay, once upon a time, and I'm here to tell you right now.
Was Playboys hidden but underneath that, or
no,
just
tax returns 84.
Leon.
No, just old issues of the Armenian Weekly is what my dad would say down there. But no, I'll be
Coin
honest
Collector's
with you.
Digest.
Yeah, exactly. Yes,
yes, that too.
If you want them, I'm sure they're there. No, I don't actually have one anymore, which I'm ashamed to say that, like, if the power goes out, I mean, I'm basically I'm basically tied to whatever power is left on my phone.
Yeah,
because that's what we do now. We like to get our local meteorologists on our weather apps and on our things like that.
Well,
but yeah, I noticed now also there's a lot of guys on YouTube doing like severe weather lives. Like that have like, obviously weather is a catch-all for people that have like hundreds of thousands of views going when they're just following live weather across the country. And it's quite the thing to behold. It's quite the spectacle.
So those of you in Cottage Grove and Stoughton and McFarland and Oregon, just be aware, be alert. Maybe you're just waking up with us, getting ready, start your day.
It's a heck of a drive to work.
Those of you who in the vestibule waiting to get into the health club, welcome aboard. Glad you're listening to us while you're getting on that your prized elliptical.
Waiting to get on the hamster wheel, run through it all.
We got a lot to unpack on this Monday in the good land. It is Brewers Cubs night tonight. Round one. Let's get after it. All the stuff that happened before is now prelims. Both teams lost disappointing games yesterday. Brewers left a small village of base runners out there stranded, and the Cubs lost a walk-off to the rivals and a series to the White Sox. We'll dive into that later. First, I need a little heat check for you guys because I'm wondering where you are in your lives, whether this is an evolution, whether people have this trait and they're locked into it. But I got in my car today to head to the Megaplex, and I glanced down at the speedometer where it tells you how many miles till empty, and I saw a 6 and a 1, and for just a fleeting moment I thought it was 6.1 miles to empty. Now I live 13 miles from the Megaplex.
Sure,
I'm 13 miles east of the Megaplex, east and northeast of the Megaplex, and I thought, oh man, did I really do that? That's a problem.
We're gonna have
some
problems.
It was actually 61. I kind of invented the decimal point in my sleep-deprived brain. But that speaks to, I don't usually run. I'm not a bottom of the tank guy anymore. And I don't know if that shifted because when I was young, it's YOLO. And I could see Billy being like, I got enough gas. I don't need to get gas yet. We do it on the Packers drives all the time. We have to gauge like when's a good time to stop as we're driving up to Lambeau.
I like to get the heart pumping a little bit.
So,
I love that.
And that's the thing.
Yeah.
But I think that shifts when you got a kid, because the last thing you want to do when you got a kid in the car is run out of gas, right? So I'm more of a top of the tank driver now. Maybe it's an age thing, but I don't usually get below, a quarter, an eighth of a tank right now. But when I saw that, momentarily I freaked out, and I thought I would ask you guys, because there are a lot of people that live on the edge. YOLO. I'm going it all the way until it's buried in the red, and now you have the digital countdown. But it used to be like, well, when I get to E, I got another 15 miles.
I enjoyed tracking it to know, like on one of my old cars, I got the ding at 50 miles. Oh, come on. That's 3 or 4 days. I got plenty of time to be rolling on that light, and you really aren't that empty until you turn the car on and it keeps the light on.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you can get a little bit down the road, then it will ding you and say, hey, by the way, a little thirsty in here.
Mm-hmm.
I generally will, if I hear the light, I'm pulling over first thing, being able to see on my ride currently, because it's like 15, 20 miles and that thing's done. That does come up pretty quick. But I'm a little bit more ashamed to say I saw it all the way down to a 1 a couple of weeks ago in a chase to try to save like 20 cents, getting my Armen on. And it was and that was a moment in time where I was thinking, bro, you are in your 30s and you're trying to save 13 cents on the 12 gallons of gas that you're about to do here. Is that $1.26 really going to change your freaking life? And I had a real rant at myself, which was kind of fun, to the point where I don't know that I'll do it again, but it was one fun final moment.
That's completely valid.
I feel seen, Billy.
Yes, because it's like, hey, if we drive to Kenosha, we can save 10 cents a gallon, and we'll chew it up in the 40 miles between.
Yeah, we'll roll it right through. Oh, I think there's one over. Oh,
Johnson Creek. If we drive to Johnson Creek, we can get it for 10 cents less.
Yeah, so my grandpa used to do that, and that's a great reference, Billy, because I had an evolution on that. When I was younger and I was first driving, I kind of thought the same way. But I think as you become older, you're kind of looking for, as you know, Billy, I'm always like, all right, how can I save a buck here? And that is one way to do it. Like my grandpa would do this, where he'd have like 3/4 of a tank, but if gas went down 3 cents, he would go load up. He would fill up, and he'd save that
Get
small
that value
margin.
in, yep.
Now I'll be honest with you. You go to get gas now, and that price will smack you right in the face. I mean, it is an absolute punch in the gut when you see the price you're paying for gas now, when you actually see it in front of you. But I was one of those guys a few years ago. Like Billy knows, I don't take a lot of risks in life, but you guys know this. But one of the risks I would take is like once I got a car that would count down the mileage and not just have the light on, then I would play like, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to run it all the way to the end, because my thought process was, if I like add 10 miles of driving before I get gas over time in my life, I'll have to stop and get gas that many times less, less chore. But I was met with like Dante's Inferno of hellfire from listeners when I broached that subject during the pandemic. When they were coming out of the woodworks going crazy saying, you're going to damage your engine. You're going to damage your engine. Don't do it, Armen. And ever since then, I've been kind of worried about it. So when the light goes on, I usually fill up the next convenient quick trip if I can find one. But I used to run it all the way to like 2 or 3 miles left, if it would show that in my my information, just to live it on the edge.
There was an old saw about like, oh, there's like sediment at the bottom of the tank.
That's what they told me. Yeah,
that's not really the case in these modern cars and stuff, but it is. And now the smart cars are like, hey, dumbass, you need gas. Should I show you where the stations are near you?
Yeah.
It's like, hey, okay.
So I got all the search results right here for you. Don't worry.
And then when you're rolling around the highways and byways, and it's with, you mentioned Armen, the pandemic and stuff, but pandemic, we were the only cars out there a lot of times, rolling into the radio show, because we had those special. I still have my special little.
Armen's got his in his
badge
wallet.
Yeah. I have it still.
My little badge that says I'm a crucial employee. Always funny.
There you go. Emergency response team. There you go.
But when you're doing that, though, when you're rolling around now with gas costing an arm and a leg, I can see why you want to put it off. But there's also the flip side of that coin is the compulsion that I might as well go get it now, because tomorrow it might be 50 cents more.
Right, it might go up at that point.
So there's a zero sum there.
A lock in there.
Yeah.
It definitely is.
Although
it's a prediction market, basically.
Yeah, I had my sister ran out of gas on the way to school one time. I remember a long time ago, and that one will still live kind of rent free in your mind of thinking, I can't allow myself to be the guy that's walking down the road, or I can't allow myself to be Matt Schneidman trying to walk down the freeway, trying to go a mile and a half to get a gallon of gas to be able to get my Honda Civic off the freeway. Right. That part of it, that trauma and the secondhand embarrassment, I think, has also changed some of my perspective and my thinking.
That is the thing right there. You don't want to be a Schneidman. Now, the thing is, growing up, running out of gas was one of those kind of irrational fears you had. It was up there with quicksand, where like you were sitting there, you used to worry about it. Like I used to think like, man, that would be scary to run out of gas. Like what's going to happen to you? Who can get, you grow up thinking you're going to just die out there. You're old enough now to know that you can get help.
Louise.
But the thing is, I just feel like that was more common with older cars, like running out of gas and things like that. But it's never happened to me. I don't suspect it will. But you never know. I guess that is possible. That's hard to believe she ran out of gas on the way to school. I mean, it's not like you don't live in the middle of like, nowhere's county. I mean, that there was no gas station to go to. She ran out of gas.
We're just talking about where you just don't, where you're trying to live it on the edge or hanging out.
Yeah, you're just
also
trying to push
16 or 17-year-old girl. A lot of times they're probably not thinking very consciously of trying to find out where I'm going to be able to go gas up this 01 Ford Windstar that doesn't have the whole countdown on it. I think that also might have been more of a problem for it.
Right, and the countdown thing is part. I do remember a guy needing a jump in high school, like with jumper cables. After like there were some guys driving beaters in high school that they would like.
Did you get out there and get your hands dirty and figure out how to black to black, red to?
Well, no, I didn't have a car, so I didn't have jumper cables. But I would have tried. I think we had to learn that in driver's ed. I think I could have done it. But geez, you don't want to mess it up. Now you can just Google it. I don't think back then.
I was going to say YouTube University has you now.
I
think that's taken a lot of the thrill out of that, Drew. It has you believing you can do just about anything.
Pretty much. Yeah. Brain surgery doesn't matter. But it's just all right. Are you the kind of person that rides it to the edge? Because I'm usually not. But even for me to be under like 100 miles left, I'm just like, oh well, might as well just put that on the list of stuff.
Natural
to do.
Caffeine today.
Get it done. But it was the jolt. And when you're up this early, you're not totally awake yet. It's like 6.1 miles. I'm gonna get halfway to work and I have to figure something out.
I was gonna say mine definitely doesn't have a decimal point. That would cause more problems. That would allow me to at least one or two times, because you also want to see just how big is this tank. How far down do we go until we actually make sure we really load it up with every decimal point worth of fuel that you can throw in here. Or you can just find as much fuel as you can to gas up and go try to drive up, like a lot of Brewers fans apparently did. I wonder how much that summer road trip cost the fans that cruised up to the Twin Cities, or if those were a bunch of transplants, because, man, it was a Target Field takeover there in Minneapolis this weekend.
Yeah, it was.
Woo, there was a ton of Brewers fans celebrating and enjoying and dominating that border battle.
I would think a lot of those too, Billy, are the ones on the western side of the state who have to take the battles all the time from those Minnesota fans, all the time have to fight that battle on the western front of the state border. That might have made that trip over there, but it was definitely audible. I mean, you could really hear the throngs and throngs of Brewer fans indeed. And that was nice to hear. I'll go so far as saying Target Field West. I don't know how you guys feel about that. I like
Saturday night when the game is getting closed out and they did the whole pan over to the third base side and the entire lower level is all Brewers fans standing up and chanting. Yeah, that felt like a Target Field West. That was a takeover of epic proportion.
So if you're coming from Milwaukee, that's 337 miles, which is basically a full tank in most cars, I would say, or maybe a little less.
It's a nice cruise.
So that is a nice drive. Beautiful part of the state. You're going through all those spots and, past Ignacio, and I think that, so 2 full tanks now these days, you're paying $100. You're paying 120 maybe. So,
So interestingly, the Brewers lost, Cubs lost, the entire NL Central lost. Skeens got lit up by Philadelphia. The entire NFL Central lost yesterday, and every team still is over 500. It's still the best division in baseball by
far,
shot.
man, by far.
And now Brewers Cubs today, after the White Sox put it to the Cubs. The White Sox 2 games over 500 for the first time since 2022.
And Lenny Casper delivers a magnificent call of the game-winning home run, where, I mean, it felt like the White Sox had puked that thing up to epic proportions, Drew, giving up a Conforto 3-run shot in the top of the 9th. They're about to lock it in 7-4, and then they got to go to extras and do it. The Cubs were as hot as anybody possibly could imagine for a couple of weeks, and not even a comeback down to earth. They're just facing some teams that are also feeling themselves a little bit. Last week, there was a time when you woke up and the 6 participants in the postseason on the AL side were the Athletics, the Guardians, the Royals, the White Sox, and Rays. It was not necessarily the murderer's row of Yankees, Red Sox, and Tigers that we've come to remember for so often. But there's that team in Chicago, not only Murakami, as they were calling him the Southside Samurai, he's been smacking balls left and right. And they got a nice young offense there. We saw the first weekend of the season, especially on that Sunday. But they give a little bit of a shock to those Cubbies. And now the real border battle begins this week.
Yeah, and how about the White Sox? So you're right, Billy. They have turned it around. But this is the real border battle. This is the one we've pointed to. And I was kind of hoping something, well, it still might happen at PCA. You guys saw the interaction he had with the woman in the stands and stuff like that. I'm like, maybe we can get a game without PCA. Would he get suspended for that? I'm not really sure. Billy also mentioned Lenny Casper's call for the Sox. It's funny you mentioned that, Bill. You guys might hear a little bit of that coming here forward on Game Balls and Kick to the Balls.
That's
Monday.
coming up after 6
stuff.
o'clock. Game Balls and Kicks. Get them ready. 877-794-1973. We got the weather on right here, the radar. Yeah, you're going through it a little bit there in the 608, Stoughton, Sun Prairie, Madison, Oregon. Be aware. It's not like tornado season yet. It's not like we're not in that, but it's high winds and hail for those of you. It's quite the wake up for people.
Our boy Marcus in Iowa said we're swimming laps here at 5 a.m.
Come on now, Marcus. Let's go. That's how you get it on a Monday.
That's how you get it.
And
Maybe
we're
referencing the storm.
Yeah.
Well, I thought he was actually swimming laps.
877-794-1973. Well, maybe he was. We're not sure.
Okay.
But it's going to be a pretty warm day today. It was a great day Saturday, back to earth yesterday. And but Saturday, that was something. That was a perfect weather day on Saturday.
Oh, gorgeous.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it was.
Out hanging out. We'll talk about the weekend that was. We got disappointed by a Game 7, as happens more often than you think.
Ow.
That happened last night. We got plenty to unpack today. We're glad you're hanging out with us. Grab yourself your favorite caffeinated beverage, be it warm or cold, this morning, and buckle up because you're in the Huddle on Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin. Drew, Billy, and Armen bringing it to you. This little program we call The Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin, on a Monday in the good line. Game balls and kicks to the balls Monday. We'll fire that up coming up at 6. We got Scout Dolphin at 6:30, halftime reporter.
Always the best.
Show. And then our pal Hunter Baumgardt will join us, talk Brewers and Cubs, getting ready for today. Interesting with the Brewers. Like, they took 2 out of 3, which is great.
Mm-hmm. Good weekend.
It was a good weekend, but was it? Pitched well. 1 for 14 runners in scoring position. They left
everyone on
a village.
That's a good point.
On the bases all weekend. They did not have a good offensive weekend.
It wasn't a great, It was.
They hit 2 homers yesterday. First time in forever.
That was
forever, yeah.
And then went 1 for 14 with runners in scoring position.
It's like yesterday was their best offensive weekend. They did. They found a way to get 2 out of 3, which is always the goal. The pitching was good, but you're right. They were both close wins, and they didn't get the runs.
Then they lost the chance to sweep, and we've seen that movie before. They did it a lot last year on their way to 97 wins, where they'd win the first 2 and then puke away the getaway game with chance for a sweep. You're gonna, that's okay.
Yeah.
Winning series is still crucial, but yesterday they didn't play great defense. They didn't,
which is almost more surprising than anything, right?
Yes.
Like them struggling offensively is not the biggest surprise. Them not maximizing when an opponent makes a mistake, that's the one where it doesn't feel very Woodpecker-esque. And 25 guys left on base over the 3 games, and headlined by the 11, like you mentioned in yesterday's game. And there were so many chances for them to jump ahead in a game that yesterday just did feel like was ripe for the taking. You ask the bullpen to do that much, at some point they're going to give something back. But man, when the pitching is gonna dominate just like this, and you're also gonna be able to call up a Coleman Crow right in the back end of it, and he gives you what he did on Friday night. Logan Henderson was what he was on Saturday, and this Chad Patrick part where we almost thought it was just an actual bullpen arm, but Murph and Hunter said it on Thursday that Murph told them at some point he's going to give us some length. I didn't realize he was just going to take the rock and not give it back on Saturday night. That was phenomenal for one side to be able to pull a ton of weight, while yesterday, 2 games and 5 days off of the injured list for Yelich. At least you get the big swing yesterday to feel some confidence rolling into the Cubs series. But you thought he was going to get a bunch of at-bats. Instead, it was just the guys throwing the stone that kept you in and put you in the win column this week.
Still, it's great. 26-18. The one thing I'll say about this Brewers team and the offense, it's so similar to the early days last year where the offensive warts were there, and you're kind of waiting for more offensive explosion, more from the buffet. And we do have that, but they always are in these games expecting to win. It seems like, at least as a fan, I'm always expecting them to win. I mean, there seems to be just a cultural expectation that they're going to go in and win games one way or the other. And, that was definitely not the case for many years, as we know. We've talked about it, but it would be nice to get a couple more, a little more slugging, a little more extra base hits to drive in some of these runs when you do have a group. That being said, Billy, your point though, I mean, Coleman Crow, that was another huge, performance from him. Mm-hmm. Love what you're seeing from Logan. Coleman Crow, I don't know about you guys. Drew, you can maybe speak to this. Reminds me a little Dave Bush, right? That big hook, the big cheese. He's using the big curveball. So he kind of reminds me of Dave Bush a lot. But love what you're getting from the young arms. And, hey, at least Jesus Made hit two off the parking lot in the minor leagues this weekend. So that was good to see.
I don't remember much about Dave Bush other than interviewing him post-game one time. I was looking at him like, the guy looks like John Malkovich. Looks like the actor.
He was the king of either getting pulled in the 3rd inning or taking a no-hitter into the 6th. From one that was all I remembered.
It was like how good that big curveball was working that day. It seemed like he had that big long delivery, and he can always throw that kind of that big cheese. But yeah, you're right, Billy. I mean, sometimes you could pick up on it some days.
So 877-794-1973. The Brewers and Cubs tonight. It'll have some juice. Both teams lost. Lost yesterday. Cubs lost a series to the White Sox. The border battle, it hits different, I think, for White Sox, Cubs, and Mets, Yankees. And
when you're in the same city, yeah.
And the underdog won both games, won both series. The Mets beat the Yankees.
Yeah, no, I don't know if it was the same one for LA, as the Dodgers fans just dominated and took over the stadium out in Anaheim. But the crosstown rivalry is a lot more fun when the walk-offs happen as well. Former Brewer Tyrone Taylor had a massive shot in that Mets-Yankees game yesterday. And it does allow you to know, especially like New York, they're all giddy this week as the Knicks are going to tip off here in game 1 of the Eastern Conference Finals. You like that there's still a little bit of good infighting, even though they're all going to come together coming up on Tuesday night.
Speaking of the Eastern Conference Finals, we know who's playing now because the Cavs are going to New York tomorrow night for game 1. Quick turnaround for the Cavs after winning game 7. Game 7, the most electrifying words in sports until it ain't. Until they get a clunker like last night where Detroit didn't show up at home. The number 1 overall seed, the best team in the regular season in the league, takes a seat. That was rough.
Out like a light or a factory. I mean, like the Cade Cunningham goes 0 of 7 from deep. And like they were so reliant on his
12
scoring
points in
throughout
the
the
first
game.
half, 1 in the second.
Oh my God.
At least nobody walked over and dapped up the opponent with 10 minutes left.
Yeah, and I'm glad you mentioned that. I can't wait for it in game balls and kicks to the
Anthony
balls. Like
Edwards, what are you doing?
When there's the other people would be able to let me know how that comparison would go to the one Michael Jeffrey Jordan that I've heard for a long time.
That's it, Billy. Yep.
I don't know how that one's gonna play on the comparisons from 23 back in the day. I don't know that he was doing that at any particular point in time, but that was a wild concession.
The flip side of that coin is, wasn't it in The Last Dance? My memory's foggy, but I seem to remember that when the Bulls did rise up and beat the Pistons just like bailed from the bench, right?
They did.
Off the bench.
The 91 Eastern Conference Finals.
Oh, here we go.
The Pistons
Armen,
walked
batting
up.
practice fastball for
Here
Armen.
we go.
Which has been long and hotly debated still to this day by Isaiah and Mikhail and the Bulls, whether or not that was truly disrespectful. But they did walk off before the game was over, the starting 5 for the Pistons. And it was like they were about to get swept. It was like they all walked off together before the game was over.
Yeah.
It was supposedly, and in history, of course, because it's a Jordan thing, so disrespectful. But those compare 10 minutes to go, you're dapping up. It's like the way opposite
Into their timeout.
And it's like the other way where people would be like, whoa, that's way too respectful and differential.
Yeah.
Like, wow, that's not the killer instinct that we need out of you, Jordan. Of course,
it was
his
just
name gets
so
invoked.
Even if it was like, the last minute or something, but like to do it with halfway through the fourth quarter of the game,
that was wild. Yeah.
That's disrespectful to your teammates who are still out there playing and just
for sure
to the jersey. And like, you just have never seen that. Like everybody. Yeah, and then you're asking guys like, I love it when they have to go to the panel. It's like, let's ask Dirk Nowitzki or Steve Nash. Like, they're superstars and they never would have crossed that line like competitors. They just wouldn't even have.
Would not have fathomed it.
No, would not have entered into the equation.
Yeah.
Those guys all had tough losses and they all sucked it up. But
and people hammered them, Drew, when those guys went onto the bench and started taking their shoes off during the started undoing the laces. What do you mean? There's still ticks on this. There's still ticks on the clock. We can't be cashing this in. Instead, you see it a little bit more. And I do remember LeBron getting absolutely lambasted a couple of different times, walking in with there's still seconds on the clock and walking into the locker room. That was a wild one though, and a real slap down of reality that the San Antonio Spurs, their time is now, and they are out of the Giannis sweepstakes. I think I'm going to check the Spurs off the list on the Giannis sweepstakes. Coming down the entrance ramp are the Minnesota Timberwolves back into the conversation for needing and desperately needing a superstar with a killer edge.
They do seem like a team that would be ripe for those discussions, right? Because contenders, but always hitting that kind of ceiling, that wall. So the question is, how do you get past it? Well, we better get desperate and go trade for So they seem like one of those obvious teams. So we'll see what happens there. But we are set up for some good conference finals here. I think, two heavyweights now in the West. See if the Spurs can continue what they did in the regular season against the Thunder. And, now Knicks.
The one in the West is, Armen, the series that everybody was hoping you'd get all year long was the Spurs and Thunder, because the Spurs were really, guys, the only team that gave the Thunder any fits throughout the year, right? What were they, 4-1 against them during the regular season? So at least there's somebody that you see give them some problems. And then you got the Jalen Williams quote from a couple of months ago after one of the games, said, what's the problem? Why do you guys struggle with the Spurs? Like, well, you got this guy. I don't know if you've seen him. He's like 7'5".
He's kind of good.
And he's right there in the middle. So every single time you try to drive the lane, you got to worry about that alien in the middle of the floor. And he's been having some time. So it's going to be new golden child, Drew, of the NBA going up against their two-time MVP and maybe the most understated gift giver of all in Shai Gilgeous-Alexander yesterday.
Yeah, how about that?
What would you say if somebody dropped off a nice gift basket with a big old trench coat like that in it yesterday?
Hilarious.
That was awesome. All these 7-footers trying to wear a trench coat. He goes, okay, don't worry. The real gift is coming in. Let's bring the Rolexes in and everybody can actually start dancing and celebrate.
Yeah. No, that is funny. Yeah.
877-794-1973 gets you in. So are the Pistons in the Giannis sweepstakes now? Do they have to be? Or do they? Giannis doesn't want to go to Detroit. He doesn't want that side of the lake. I don't think.
I don't necessarily know if you're about winning. That would be the team that would then have, you would think, one of the best paths that you'd be able to go to. But I think right now, Drew, I think his eyes are focused squarely on Boston. Like you get the city and the excitement East Coast closer to Greece that you'd possibly want. With obviously international travel going to be easy in and out of there. You'd get the historic program and a winning culture and a team that is close enough to win while having the disappointment and distaste in their mouth now where you don't feel like a full ring chase, right? Like if there's a swap and a change in Boston and it's Brown and Tatum finally getting broken up, that doesn't make him seem like KD trying to go to the Warriors. It's this is just a new version of the Celtics that we're building together.
We've spoken about it before. Giannis doesn't have all the ties, and he's not a product of the AAU system, doesn't play college in the States here. So he's a unique bird, but he has friends. And one of his friends is Drew Holiday.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, Drew Holiday, did he like his experience there? Won a title.
Yeah, I think it went all right for him.
Did it go all right for him? Did he like it there? What would Drew Holiday tell Giannis as a scouting report for the team? But I still think it's like New York, Miami, LA. Giannis is like, I still think the siren call of the biggest market and being able to conquer that and to experience that. He's lived the small market. I think he wants the other side of the coin. Miami, LA, and to me, New York just seem more logical for Giannis.
Is that, you think, because he's looking, I mean, not to party is the wrong word, but for more cosmopolitan lifestyle? Or because he makes the reference of like, well, I'll do what my wife wants to do, and I'm, a family man. He worries about that first. He likes not being bothered.
No doubt.
So then I wonder about the Miamis and the New Yorks of the world. That being said, New York's always been linked there, to a spot. And then there was the rumor that he wants an East Coast spot. So it's like whoever you ask right now, everyone's got a different rumbling and sources suggest, and everyone's got a different rumor of what team it might
Giannis
be.
Giannis is also cheap. So Texas and Florida are attractive.
That's the thing. Like, it does depend on what is actually important to him. Yeah. Is it where he lives, or is it about winning? Because all we've ever heard is all it matters is about winning. All it matters is about winning. If you choose Miami, then it clearly isn't, right? Because then you're just going to build the South Beach Bucks. Like they would have nothing left for you to really be competing if you gutted them in the deal. Or the Knicks that one would be about winning. I just don't see New York in all of the excitement, because I also think they're going to go to the finals. I struggle to see them lose in the finals and then blow up the best core team that they've had in 35 years.
It's New York. It's like, we fell short. Let's get rid of Cat and let's retool this. Let's, the urge to do that might be strong. Like, okay, let's.
Oh, sure, might be. I just don't see. I didn't see it happening.
Now, it's been a long time since the Knicks were that vibrant. They woke up a little bit last year, but it would be interesting to see, like, if they don't win, and it depends on how it goes. Like this Cavs-Knicks series. Cavs are a tough matchup for the Knicks, I think, because Brunson defensively could be, they could create some problems. They got, some the big dudes. They got enough, and Spidey is good. Like they're a handful. Now, how much do they have in the tank? They just played 7. They're probably going to get smoked tomorrow night. Like,
I was going to say, I got Cavs game 2 money line for sure.
The ebb and flow of the NBA tells you that you're going to have to dig out, and the Cavs will have to show
good
some
rest
metal.
versus rust matchup.
Yeah, the Cavs will have to show some grit and some metal, but I just think there's something about the Knicks. I could see them doing it. Like,
well,
in New York, it's like it's never enough. You can win, but it's never enough.
Is it ever enough?
They also haven't won. Like that's the other thing, right? I mean, they haven't been to the finals
since the title that they might be looking to retool and get better.
That I wouldn't see, but maybe. Yeah, sure, maybe. But like, I think at that point, you got a better chance of the Lakers because LeBron might walk out, and then it would be Luka and Giannis. That'd be a fascinating one.
You're in a market where the Yankees could win, 3 World Series and still go sign the top pitcher on the market. Like they have.
Yeah, but I mean, comparing the Knicks are more comparable to the Brewers, I think, than the Yankees.
They have been lately, but they shouldn't be, and that's we'll see. It's going to be a fascinating. Buckle up, and we're. According to Jimmy Haslam's timeline, we're about 4 weeks away.
Oh yeah, we're finding out here pretty soon.
Finding out what's going to happen.
Cannot wait. So let's get this thing moving. Let's get these offers rolling through, and let's get them on paper so we can start picking the best one.
There's one rumbling, and I don't think the Bucks would ever do this because I don't know what the PR would be like and stuff. But I did see somebody online say, "What if the Bucks we didn't find a suitable offer? We're going to keep Giannis and play this last year, and then maybe trade him at the deadline or whatever, but keep him, start the season with him under Taylor Jenkins, and then make him that offer on October 1st and make him say no to the $275 million.
Make him actually say no.
I think that's still likely.
I don't think it's likely because if there's all the smoke that we've seen from the Shamses and Wendy's and stuff, but if this has been brewing for 2 years and last year, the stuff we've learned about the way Doc was running the show.
Depends on how hurt them feelings are.
He wants to get out, but that would be an interesting, you want to get nuts? Let's get nuts. Let's get nuts. That's what we're up to today. All right, 877-794-1973. We're giving everybody time to get that first glass of caffeine in you, that first jolt, and then we fire up game balls and kicks to the balls after 6 o'clock. You're in the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin.
Time, Lakers and the Blazers in game number 5. How about the turnaround by Vlade Divac?
I think that Magic Johnson really got him fired up about it and really did the job. Well, I think the crowd is cheering here for the Bulls right now and the Pistons as they leave the court.
I don't think they're cheering for the Bulls, but I think the greeting is for the Pistons as they are headed off as time runs down. Pistons wasting no time in getting out of here. Now timeout was called. They left the bench, although there's 7 and 9/10 seconds remaining. The Pistons just left.
Rolling along the Monday edition of the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin, 920 Milwaukee, 1070 Madison. Hope everybody in the 608 weathered the hailstorm that woke you up this morning. High winds and hail. Going to be a little bit dicey today. Spotty weather, but temps in the 80s. They were couching their bets. They were couching it yesterday. They're like, well, if the warm front pushes north, it's going to be this, but if it doesn't, it'll be this. And I guess the warm front won.
I like that. So that sounds a lot like me on Sunday negotiating the honey-do list. Well, if it rains, I can't cut the grass. Well, then maybe I'll pick up the basement and I'll be able to move those boxes around that you've been asking for 3 or 4 months. And then it was really gorgeous, and then we didn't do any of it. I like that one a lot better.
Early negotiations you got to make. You got to set early negotiations on those honey-do lists. Boss Dobler, good morning, everybody. I didn't think I'd hear from Dobler because Garrett Mitchell hit a homer, but we do hear from Dobler this morning. He's got his early game ball in, and Mike Witt involved as well, mentioning your point, Billy, about Minnesota and the Giannis sweepstakes. Maybe they'll be involved. He's there in the YouTube comments. He also says he thinks it's going to be Houston with Sengun and some picks coming back. So the comments coming in hot and heavy on a Monday morning, guys, on YouTube, X, and the talk and text line.
Sengun is a fascinating one if that's the centerpiece of a package. Now, I would definitely hunt to try to get Thompson as the centerpiece of the package. I know that's probably wishful and too optimistic of thinking, but Sengun's a multiple-time All-Star. Like, there are guys that are good pieces that could come back. I mean, obviously, they're a long shot, but Drew mentioned Drew Holiday's name earlier. Portland has, at least people have put their name into the sweepstakes. I don't actually think that they're going to be a real part of it, but Denny Avia is an all-star player who can score you 20 a game and could be at least some kind of a focal point, somebody that you could sell and a marketable dude. But you are looking at some legit offers. Houston could give you one, and again, they're a team that got bounced out early, way earlier than they had anticipated. Those are the teams that generally get very anxious, hungry, and hunt going and trading for James Harden because that's going to fix their problems like the Cavs did. He didn't fix the problems last night, Drew. He was slightly a problem. I think he was 2 of 10. Game 7 Harden actually still showed up. However, the Pistons also didn't, and that outweighed the scale yesterday in a 30-point drumming.
Yeah, that was something else. Game 7, get all excited, and it's like, oh, it's over in the first quarter.
That's where Brian Noe had a lot of haters and a lot of people that didn't like him on this radio station. He said one thing to me that will always stick with me, and I told him instantly as I heard it, just so you know, you can consider that one stolen. Game 7, second best 2 words in all of sports. Right behind Super Bowl. I mean, let's be honest. Granted, now that one didn't live up to the billing this year. That one might not have lived up to the hype. But for the most part, you're going to find, Drew, in a lot of these games, especially, you don't think about it. You think home court advantage, home ice advantage in hockey. We're going to have one here tonight with Buffalo and Montreal. Well, home ice advantage has been nothing in there. I think the road teams won 3 or 4 times.
That's true.
And in basketball, like yesterday, you could feel that pucker factor in Detroit early. And once it was clear and obvious that the other team had more juice, that building turns from excited to toxic real quick fast. There in the middle of the second quarter.
That's the thing. Game 7, I think obviously you still want to be at home, but there is a different level of tightness maybe and pressure when you have expectation, the crowd, and that is created sometimes by being at home. And you saw that happen. You mentioned the NHL game. It's a very good point, but maybe that happened to the Pistons. I don't know, but I could not believe I saw them put up the dud they did last night with everything in front of them, the chance to win it at home, especially the way they came back against the Magic in the first round. But they have a real situation now where, okay, they had a really good year. They were able to get out of that first round, but they have the weight of expectation now of saying, okay, now you have to figure out what you can do to make it count in the playoffs. And man, they lost to those Cavs and those terrible white jerseys that they wear look like practice jerseys. I can't stand those jerseys. Worst jerseys in the NBA. They gotta fix that. But whatever. They lost those.
You prefer the big C logo black one?
It's not as much the logo. I don't know
that
what
one to
it
me
is.
A sweet
they
look.
Just look boring. I don't know what it is. It looks under like basically like a t-shirt you get at the shop. But I don't know. Give the Cavs credit. They were facing the questions, the elimination, all those sort of doubters. So now they have the chance to kind of make their run here in the conference finals. Try and make the finals, but man, the way they put up a dud. A lot of times the Pistons, you see teams do that at game 6 at home with the chance to win. and then go lose it in Game 7. But man, at home in Game 7, that was crazy.
Yeah, very reminiscent of the Bucks and the Fear the Deer Bucks against the Atlanta Hawks. That Game 6.
That's the one that sticks out in your mind. For
sure. They score 69 points in that game.
Yeah, if that.
Still has got to be one of the most deflating sports moments ever. You're like, oh, sweet, here we go. Great chance to close out the series and win the first one in a decade, and the game is over. Didn't even tip off yet.
No, and tough for Cade because in those are the games you kind of look for your stars to take control and have big games, and obviously he didn't. So it's going to stick with him for a while, until you try and rewrite that history.
Yeah, I mean, dude overcame a collapsed lung and stuff, so it's
big credit.
Tough season, yeah, no doubt.
Amazing year. There's no question. I'm just saying, people remember Game 7.
Just the way that they won Game 6 just adds to the letdown, right? It's just
big time. They did this 2 days ago, right? They went in and just beat the absolute brakes off the Cavs with Cleveland's chance. And hey, man, that again is you give some real metal and some kudos to Cleveland because there's a lot of teams that do pack it in after you blow a chance to be able to clinch it there.
That's true. We were talking about Giannis earlier, and I think we raised the question weeks ago, will we know Giannis's fate before we know the fate of Aaron Charles Rodgers?
Oh, yeah.
And now, lo and behold, Aaron's running it back.
Here we go.
Mike,
come on now.
I didn't think it would happen. I didn't think a reunion would happen. But the Steelers, the lights came on just after 2 a.m. and they didn't have any other options.
They had to grab something, and instead,
bridesmaid of Mason Rudolph and Will Howard was like, we can't do this. Even though our fans are going to have to hold their noses, like we're going to do this because we don't have any other options.
And instead, she said, you're not putting me in an Uber X. You give me an Uber XL. He said, I'm getting a raise too if I'm coming back for this nonsense.
Treat me better because I'm not just going to be your backup. Yeah, exactly.
So,
it's like the David Putty.
You ain't just ordering me an Uber on the way home.
He and Mike going to try to figure things out and navigate around Aaron's current limitations.
Well, I'm excited for to figure out if there's a masseuse in the Pittsburgh Steelers organization because I want to know if there's some massages for a bad back going on during meetings. I want all of it.
All of it.
Tyler Dunn, let's get rolling here. Come on now. Let's get to those unnamed sources. Let's ride.
Let's go. All right. Get ready. 877-794-1973. Your ticket to join us on the talk and text line, which is available for sponsorship. And you can get us your game balls and kicks the balls because we're firing that up next. You're in the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin.
I'm Doug Russell. It was a series win, but the Brewers border battle sweep came up just short, but there were some rest of the season glimmers.
Yelich, right center. It is back. And it's gone, and we're tied. Welcome back to the captain.
Brewers TV on the call. The Crew coming up just short, though. 5-4 the final score. The Brewers at Chicago for 3 with the Cubs starting tonight at 6:40. Strange story out of Nashville. The stadium of the Brewers AAA affiliate, the Nashville Sounds, was broken into in the middle of the night over the weekend. Several fielders' gloves were stolen. Surveillance cameras clearly showed the two men appeared to be in their 20s, just casually making their way into the clubhouse. Coming up tonight, the Western Conference Finals gets underway between the Spurs and the Thunder. To golf, Aaron Rai wins the PGA Championship at -9. And from the NFL, Aaron Rodgers will play one more year and do it for his former coach in Green Bay, new Steelers coach Mike McCarthy. Hour 2 of the Huddle starts now. I'm Doug Russell on Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin.
Good morning, Wisconsin, and welcome to the Huddle.
I'm all for someone huddling if you have something to say.
It's time to wake up and talk about the teams you love.
Everybody wake up! Everybody wake
with the guys you love.
It's just about getting the group together. I need you, you need me today. Let's keep touching each other. Let's make sure we feel each other. Let's make sure we smell each other's breath.
Watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
You need 15 or 20 huddles to correlate with a number of cameras. Take the cameras off the field and there'll be no huddles.
Now gather around because it's time to huddle up.
West left slot, 323 wide stick on one. Ready, Diller for blitz. If it looks like man coverage, I'll check. I'll go 200 yes. You got to cut and crack. Now it's cut and crack. Red, right, 18 Bob on one. Ready, cut him and crack.
If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here and try to run this play in the alley.
We got exactly what we got to do. All right, that's all the board got to do. Let's go out and kick the tape. All right? 1, 2, 3. Keep doing what you're doing. Get our guys after you and make the play. Be right, all the way outside. Wide, left, fake, 396 bag, B hand, C puck. Is that long enough for you?
I want you to be proud of your profession. It's a great profession. Go out there and play this ball game like I know you can play it.
With Drew Olson,
Mythical, legendary figure.
Bill Schmid.
Oh, my God. This man's been out all night.
And Armen Sarian.
This is it. Don't get scared now.
Sanchez, we ready?
Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin is on the air.
Dominating a Monday morning in the good land. It's the Huddle. Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin, 920 Milwaukee, 1070 Madison. Everywhere on the iHeart app and streaming for all you early risers, insomniacs, and sociopaths. Facebook, X, and YouTube. I'm Drew Wilson, joined by Bill Schmid and Armen Sarian. We are ready to launch into game balls and kicks to the balls. That's right. Monday tradition on the program. You got them. You want to unholster them. Game balls and kicks to the balls can be anybody from the weekend or just of recent vintage. If someone deserves a game ball, an attaboy, a kudo, a way to go, good job, good effort, as young Armen Sarian might have said.
Good job, good effort. Good job, good effort. Good job, good effort.
Game ball on the program today is... All right.
That was the Lencast. That was the best part of the Lencast for calling the when the Sox won the game on the walk-off. Shut up! Shut up! There you go.
Yeah, that's what that lady said to PCA and the yelling through the phone.
Yeah, good audio. I really wanted to get better audio of that to make that the everything.
Yeah,
Hopefully he's mic'd up and the Cubs account puts it out.
Len Casper is a longtime friend of the program. Do you have his the whole call of that? Of the
I do. Just give me a second.
All right,
to pull it
but
up.
in the meantime, if you want to kick someone in the huevos and tell them they need to do better, if it's you want to give your own personal PIP, performance improvement plan, which is the last thing they do before they fire you. If you're put on a performance improvement plan, you're probably not getting a raise anytime
I was going to say,
you should
good luck.
probably start going to LinkedIn and looking around and asking people if they know
not the
anybody.
direct message tab.
Yeah. But today, a kick to the balls on the Huddle is.
Oh no, the Mets.
That's when they dropped the fly ball. They ended up winning that game, but it was just a great
dropping
an easy fly ball, can of corn and run.
Oh no, the Mets.
All right. Off and running with game balls and kicks to the balls. You can get those to us when you'd like. Again, coming off a weekend when the Brewers beat the Twins, 2 out of 3. They didn't play great on offense. They won, but it wasn't, one of those, we're really rolling. When you go, what were they, 4 for 40 with runners in scoring position on the weekend or something?
Oh my God, something like that. 25 left on base combined in the 3 games, Drew. And there has been a long time where you'd lose a series and say, well, it really wasn't that bad. Look at all these performances. Look at this good pitching performance. Look at this good 3 for 4 that you got from your starting shortstop. Rarely do we do it on the other side, but when the expectations are so high, generally speaking, you get a little bit more of that.
Yeah. I remember Doug Melvin telling me that it sounds antithetical, but he goes, one of the categories I want to lead the league in is runners left on base because it means we're getting a lot of guys on base. It means you're scoring a lot of runs. Yep, so you got a lot of traffic. Want to lead the league and runners left on base. It's like, well, why would you want to do that? Well, that means you got a good offense because you're getting a lot of guys on base and you're probably it's like the more shots you take, the more points you're going to pile up. You might not have a great shooting percentage, but the more shots you take,
yeah, the more you'll score. And let's also say the more bites at the apple you take, the better opportunity you have at some point for it to strike. So I think that's one of those moments where it is very frustrating in the moment as it's happening. But I definitely prefer that than sitting here saying, wow, they only had 3 at bats with a runner in scoring position. How does that happen?
Well, as long as we're teeing that up, game ball to our buddy Hunter Baumgardt, our Brewers correspondent.
Come on, Hunter.
He doesn't just stop. He does the baseball pregame show. He does Milwaukee's baseball tonight on Thursdays. He's at the ballpark when the team is at home. I don't know if he's going down to Wrigley this week, and I haven't talked to him. No, probably not because he's doing the show.
Oh, that's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, had I
day game
given that a little bit of thought. Yeah, day game maybe he could have gone down there, but Hunter has a Brewers recap for us. It's a recap of the weekend and a look ahead because tonight
he always gets
must-see TV. Brewers Cubs. Take it away, Hunter.
Good morning, guys. The Brewers take 2 of 3 in Minneapolis over the weekend, losing the finale yesterday by a final score of 5-4. They've won 8 of their last 10. Those 2 losses, the loss in the 9th inning that Abner Uribe gave up, the 3-run homer to Gavin Sheets against the Padres, and then a 1-run loss yesterday. Needless to say, they've been playing some really good baseball. They're now 5-0-1 in their last 6 series, so they have not lost their last 6 series, so that's pretty impressive as well. Now, of course, they head, starting tonight, to Wrigley Field to take on the Chicago Cubs for the first time since they eliminated them in the NLDS in Game 5 last year. So tonight, it's Brandon Sproat on the mound for the Crew against Shota Imanaga. Then tomorrow night, it'll be Jacob Mizorowski on the mound for the Crew against Ben Brown. And then the series finale, another night game, Wednesday night, will feature Kyle Harrison on the mound for the Brewers. And then Edward Cabrera, the offseason acquisition from Miami, will be on the mound for the Cubs. Should be a great 3 days of ball. I was there at Target Field over the weekend, and boy, those Let's Go Brewers chants were loud. Hopefully the Brewers fans can infiltrate Chicago over the next 3 days as well. I'll talk to you guys more about it coming up at 7:25, and this report brought to you by Import Minded, your trusted choice for exceptional vehicle care on South 27th, just north of 894. Back to you guys.
About that,
Let's go.
Got me
We
fired up.
had boots on the ground up there in Minnesota this weekend.
Hell
of
yeah.
course, the Brewers were bringing home a big time.
Hunter's at the grind going. I love that,
Hunter,
man. That's what it's
Hunter
about.
must have made his way to his hometown of La Crosse.
I was going to say,
shot on over.
A hop, skip, and a jump right on up there. That's what I'm talking about.
The Friday game, wasn't that directly against the Wolves?
So they moved it.
I know it was kind of like it was the doubleheader, but
yeah, because I think that game started at 8:30, if I'm not mistaken. So it was close to being done by the time that thing tipped off.
Yeah, which was good. It was
100%.
Them to move it up.
Smart move by them.
But I'm sure downtown was just cooking.
Can't imagine that was a great doubleheader to be at. I mean, we talked about it. That would have been a sweet doubleheader a couple of weeks ago to be at. If you're a Minnesota fan, that one might not have hit the same way.
All right. Game balls and kicks. Let's give a game ball to PGA champion Aaron Rye. The guy who plays with two gloves.
Dude, yes. Come on now.
Double glove. I mean, he's
Kurt Warner of golf finally made his way in and won.
Interesting story. Him winning the Wanamaker Trophy with the 5 under 65, and he was 9 under to win by 3. It didn't seem that close. I didn't realize this. I know the PGA is like the weird. It's always been kind of the weird major,
right?
Where you have unknowns rise up and win it, and it's like they have the golf pros, like they have the highest of the PGA professionals, the club pro type thing. It's like that's conducive.
That's
to
how
that.
you can qualify in. Okay,
yeah, it's conducive to that. So it's like it is a different stroke. It's still a major. The Wanamaker Trophy is historic. We've had PGAs.
That's how we
here.
get the Michael Block story from.
I didn't realize that he was the first Englishman to win in 107 years.
That's hard to believe.
I didn't think of that.
Yeah, because you think of there are other great golfers from the UK, so you just didn't think that he'd be the first one. And I'd be honest with you, probably a lot of people don't know who he is. So
I didn't know who the dude was because I'm not a golf nerd like the Garbedians, Hellers, and Zabes of the world. Like they probably knew, but in the wake of him winning and breaking through, all the other dudes were just like very happy for him and talking about what a great dude he is and what a grinder he is and how. I think I hit a lot of balls and I leave the range and he's still there and like, that kind of stuff. So
we tend to talk about like the Schefflers and Rorys and the big stars and all these guys, but I'm sure there's a lot of grinders on the tour that you never hear of that everyone likes, that they're just good, solid golfers.
Like Steve Stricker.
Exactly. Those type of guys that are mainstays that don't get the chance to break through and win and have their like one shining moment. But this could be his moment in the sun, and that puts him in golf history the rest of his life. A guy that maybe, is usually in the periphery, but had that one moment to break through and win a major, and that's probably what it is. So it always is good to see a guy like that win. I think the story is good. It doesn't really do a lot for the casual golf viewer, I think, because they're looking for big names and which guy that I recognize won this year? But when a guy like that does win it, you do get kind of happy because you realize it's probably going to change his life in ways that he didn't have before, just as a regular, tour golfer.
Well, and he made the cut at the Masters, and that was after missing a couple. My man hadn't finished better than like top 20 until last week. He was top 5 and then wins it this week. So you have 2 or 3 great weeks, and you can make yourself a large amount of your sums of money that you need for a long time. As he pulls away, a $3.1 million purse yesterday, $3.7 million purse and the Wanamaker Trophy. That's as good as it gets. And he's the third 200 plus to 1 to win odds wise in the last 20 years, win a major. Louis Oosthuizen was 200 to 1, Mickelson 200 to 1 when he won the PGA a couple of years ago. And he went off, Aaron Rye went off at like 250, 290 to 1 at some particular places. So, I mean, just put that into thoughts. That's like turning $5 into like $1,400.
You could have made a pretty coin if you had that. I'm sure. I don't know who did. I mean,
I don't know if anybody did at the Potawatomi Sportsbook, but I do know they were probably raking through the numbers, saying, "Please tell me nobody did. Please tell me nobody won big on blackjack and decided to fire off a bunch of lottery tickets here."
Kick to the balls. Let's give a kick to the balls to, and it pains me to do this because they were such a good story, undercovered for much of the year. The Detroit Pistons.
Oh no, the Mets.
You go game 7. You had the best record. You had the number 1 seed just to get game 7 at home, and then you drop it by 30.
Too easy. That's just so disappointing. I mean, what a colossal failure that is.
Detroit fans just can't have nice things.
No, and I don't know that it could be much worse, but it will be. A kick to the balls to Jalen Duren right there in the middle of it.
Oh no, the Mets.
He went from 19.5 and 10.5 boards in the regular season, Drew, all-star season for Jalen Duren, to in the postseason averaging less than 10 points a game. The largest drop-off from an all-star player from their points per game average in the regular season to the postseason. I heard them talking about on the pregame show since the NBA merger. And we're talking about 2 leagues coming together, and it's been that long. That's a tough one to hold for the 22-year-old center from Memphis.
Right. I got a game ball for the city of Nashville. All the pedal taverns and
there you go. You get one.
All the bachelorette parties. It looks like they're on the cusp of getting their first Super Bowl in 2030. awarded with the new stadium coming in NFL. It could happen. We could find out today.
Super Bowl 64, if my math is correct.
I believe that number. Correct.
Yeah. Pretty sweet to think that it's going to be in Music City. That rooftop tavern that they're going to have is sounding like it's going to be amazing for what they've got rolling there in Nashville. And Drew, Nashville's the thought. All right, sweet. Build a new stadium, get a Super Bowl. Build a new stadium, get a Super Bowl. It might have broken the mind of a lot of teams. Like, sweet, we're no different than Nashville, Tennessee. It might be the big sleeping giant of great cities that the NFL has been waiting to really, I think, sink their teeth in and know whether probably should be okay. Fun, definitely going to be had by all, definitely a moneymaker for the NFL. I anticipate they're hoping Nashville is a mainstay, but I do think it kind of broke the brains of like the Kansas Cities of the world being like, sweet, we're middle America. We build a new stadium with a dome. We'll just get a Super Bowl like Tennessee. I don't know that it's going to be that easy.
No, it's not. I mean, Nashville seemed to be inevitable, right? The way it's kind of been burgeoning is like the cool, sexy city. A lot of famous people going there. A lot of people live there. A lot of money going there. And obviously they have a football tradition. I don't know why I said tennis. Football tradition there. And that seemed to be an obvious thing, but you're right, Billy. Those are the other cities of middle America now. You're going to be like, wait, why not us? It's totally different. I'm sorry. Like, it is not Nashville. Nashville's like, it's so trendy and sexy right now. It just seemed like a given that they were eventually going to get one. So, game ball to them. Game ball or kick to the ball. No matter on which kind of side you're on, and Billy and I were joking about this deal with PCA and Chicago and the White Sox fan.
So awesome.
Now, for those of you who didn't see it, there's really no good audio of it. And so, there is some, so I can't really play anything, but basically, Pete Armstrong is going back on a fly ball at guaranteed rate field, knocks it into the wall, misses it. And there's a female White Sox fan that's just giving him the business behind the wall, wherever it is in center field that has a seat there. He gives it back to her. You can look it up and see what he said to her on the internet. So whether or not you are a Cubs fan or a Sox fan, this looks like a game ball or a kick to the ball. Some people love it. Some people don't.
Sox fans who are known for attacking first base coaches.
Not
games,
great. Not great.
But it's not a good look when you're screaming at fans. There is a rule against that. Players are not in uniform, are not supposed to talk to fans, mingle with fans, sit in the stands before, during, or after games.
Especially when it's a woman and he used the words he did that have been caught.
What, the Sox are sick?
Yeah, that's right. That's what he said.
Was that it?
Yeah, that's
the
what he
Sox
said.
are sick.
Generally, I enjoy like the bantering back and forth with fans and players. Like, I do think it's kind of funny. And she was giving it to him hard, so I understand why.
Wow.
I mean, I understand. Okay, he's gonna fire back, and he said, "Look, someone was talking blank. I had to talk blank back." But it might not be a great look for him because the league is trying to push him up as being, hey kids, here's cool young PCA, get into baseball. So
what do we? So what do we get a suspension? Do we miss PCA one game, or are we just gonna? Is that just gonna be a little slap on the wrist, $50,000?
I was kind of hoping for that.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's just a fine. I was kind of hoping for a game. I'll take it.
I mean, at some point you gotta make an example out of something.
Yeah.
Rob Manfred, you got any stones? I think you go and suspend him for 3 games. Let's figure that out. No appeal allowed.
True game ball to the guy who had the video right behind her, so we got a different angle, not just the TV copy.
That's pretty impressive and quick work too, by the way.
Really good work. So
he was on that thing.
Man, everything's on camera always.
You generally speaking, Drew, and honestly, when the youngest players in the league step in it, I'm almost more surprised because they've grown up that way. Grown up with everybody having a recording device and everybody waiting to try to get a new TikTok.
I remember when I'm old enough to remember, come on over here, guys, take a knee. Helmet's not a chair. Old enough to remember when if you were walking around late at night and you were in a dire situation, you could relieve yourself. You could signal for
sure, yeah,
in an alley just about anywhere. And, as long as it wasn't on, somebody's property or anything, you could do that silently. And it wouldn't be on. Now you're always on camera.
Yeah,
just
now
think
that
about
it's caught.
Everywhere you are, there's a camera watching you and you're being recorded. No matter what hallway you're walking down, whatever it is, you're always
whatever dumpster you're sitting behind. Yeah, they're catching you.
We opened the show with the weather alert for the
sidewalk.
people in the 608. That storm that was hitting Oregon and McFarland and those places is now moving. Billy, we've got the special weather alert for Waukesha, New Berlin, and Oconomowoc until 7 a.m.
We might have to get a sounder.
40 miles an hour winds and hail of up into a half inch possible. So be alert if you're waking up to that From all the way from Elkhorn up to Sussex right now, you're in alert zone, and it's moving northeast. So just FYI.
Come on now. Let's all arrive alive here on this Monday morning and enjoy it and be safe and sound getting to and from work. How about one other game ball to Don Mattingly?
Okay.
He took over the Philadelphia Phillies after they told Rob Thompson, hey, man, you're the reason why our team is the worst it's been in a couple of decades now. Well, Drew, since the managerial shift, this one doesn't necessarily bode well for us guys like me who have said for a long time, I don't necessarily know firing the coach is going to make any difference. I don't know that that's going to make it any different. Well, they're 15-4 since they fired the manager and put Don Mattingly in charge, and they just snuck over the 500 mark for the first time since April 7th. Seems like that's going to fly right in the face of me saying that one's not going to change very much for Don Mattingly.
Yeah, I like that Donnie Ball game coming in. I thought that was like, I didn't think Thompson deserved to be fired, but obviously it worked. And
well, they had the turnaround the Mets wish they had. Right. I mean, they never got the turnaround. They had it.
It's true.
And it worked. I mean, look, it's a different sport. Look at hockey. The Vegas Golden Knights, they hired Tortorella.
Yes.
And now they're in the conference finals. And he closed it.
I was going to say,
media.
Glad you said that. Kick to the balls to John Tortorella right away. The Mets. Not because I am freaking out that you didn't go and make sure you told and answered all the questions and everything. For costing us Golden Knights a dang second-round pick, John Tortorella.
Yeah,
we needed that second-round pick. What the heck, Gary Bettman?
That was kind of not draconian.
If you missed this,
the
Golden Knights won the Western Conference semifinals, 3-4 days ago. Apparently, they closed the locker room to the media, didn't answer any questions. I don't think Tortorella went to the press conference. They just went quiet in Anaheim.
Was Brooksy there? Drew knows that reference.
Gary Bettman said, excuse me, that's not going to fly here. $500,000 fine for the team and a second-round pick.
Can you imagine?
In that penalty. You said that is not flying, boys.
I like him taking care of the media like that. Damn it. I like commissioners caping up for the media. Bud Selig used to do it all the time. And he protected our access when they tried to peel it back. And don't let these guys in before the game. Why do they need to be in here before the game?
Man.
You imagine Goodell taking a second-round pick away from somebody? There'd be a
that is a huge one. That's a huge penalty. But they're like, hey, listen, guess what? No, you ain't doing it again, man.
I'm the boss.
Okay.
He said.
Before we move on, we need to a little who's hot, who's not, presented by Donovan Jorgensen Heating and Cooling. And Billy, what do you got for who's hot, who's not? Employee owned for 40 years, Donovan Jorgensen, HVAC. I thought about turning on the heat yesterday. I did not. It was a little chilly.
A little chilly in there, yeah.
The windows
after everybody was working out that AC for the first time, I think, on Saturday.
This is the season when you got those decisions, because it's going to be in the 80s, and then we're going to dip down into the 50s
going
again.
Back and forth,
going back and forth a little bit. Tis the season, and then we'll settle in by the 70s. But Donovan Jorgensen, who's hot, who's not? Who do you got, Billy?
I got a couple of really hot ones from the Milwaukee Brewers. What about Jake Bauers' 2 hits yesterday? And also, as the Brewers' social media account let everybody know, he is riding a 18-game on base streak is one Jake Bauers. Long from the days of me saying Jake Bauers, the best talent he had was getting red hot right at the moment where it looked like he was about to get sent down. He is mainstay right now. Christian Yelich out for 4 games with a little bit of the back after coming off of the IL. Homers yesterday, albeit in a losing effort. In the not category for our Milwaukee Brewers, though, sadly, our friend Blake Perkins. Now, he was a part of the rally a couple of days ago in that big super special Sunday win against the Mother's Day against the New York Yankees. Well, that's his only hit in the month of May, and he's got 2 hits since April 10th.
Whoa.
2 hits since April 10th. That's 5 weeks. Now, granted, there's a slight stay down in AAA, albeit a very slight stay for Blake Perkins because of some injuries. He ends up in the not category as the Brewers get ready to go take on a team who had been all hot throughout the year, the Chicago Cubs. Instead, they come in here limping a little bit, losers of 4-6, and losing the Subway Series to the Chicago White Sox, I believe, for the first time, they said, since 2022. Yesterday in that walk-off win for the Sox.
Right. Who's hot, who's not? Brought to us by Donovan Jorgensen Heating and Cooling. You know who's hot? Scott Dolphin. Our buddy from the country station down the hall is going to join us next. Plenty to ask Dolph about today.
So much to ask him about today.
Including a topic we've not touched upon is Packers personnel shotgunning beers with Luke Combs.
Field.
Field.
How's their coverage going to be slanted now?
We'll talk to Scott Dolphin. He is up next. You're in the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin. Rolling along, the Monday edition of the Huddle. This portion of the program brought to you by Game Day Men's Health. Check them out online, GameDayMen'sHealth.com. In fact, I'll be visiting the Brookfield location right after the show to see my friends over there. Visit them, see how they can help change your life, be it testosterone replacement therapy, peptide therapy, weight loss, ED. They got it all for you, GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Check them out. Find a clinic near you. Get the free, no obligation, no fee consult, and go from there, GameDayMen'sHealth.com. Our buddy Scott Dolphin is here, our halftime reporter, because it is halftime of today's edition of the Huddle. Dolph, good morning. And I got to know, big country weekend in Wisconsin with Luke Holmes rocking Lambeau for 2 nights. Your thoughts as a Bears fan seeing him in that historic football venue?
Yeah, I mean, that's a big deal. You don't get shows at Lambeau very often. Now, Soldier Field in Chicago is owned by the city and the Parks District, and they have shows practically every weekend.
Which is why they have the worst turf in the
right. Yeah,
something to it. Yeah.
Although it's been better, it seems to have been better the last couple of years. Considering
less complaining, about
less
it.
complaining. That's for sure. Yeah.
Maybe they're playing less high school soccer on it. I don't know, but that was a spectacle the other night.
Of recent vintage, what was the bigger spectacle? Morgan Wallen at Camp Randall or Luke Holmes at Green Bay? Those are both the hot.
Great question.
Yes. Give me a show at Lambeau Field any day.
Any day.
Camp Randall, that's a rare thing too.
Yeah.
But
Camp Randall isn't set up for the modern experience.
It's not. And just seeing and I wasn't at the show over the weekend. I know Shanna and Shannon were there, but it just looked incredible. And then to have the Packers take part like they did, and shotgun and beers on stage, that'd be something Billy would do.
And really nice weather.
Yes.
They had really nice weather.
Gorgeous weather.
Yeah.
Well, and I like that they brought the main event out the first night, right? The offensive linemen were the guys that had shotgun beers on night 1. That was the one everyone came for. Sure, eyebrows and glitz and glamour come for Saturday night.
Yeah.
The guys in the trenches were there on Friday night. The grinders were there night 1.
I think LaFleur had a pretty big contingent of friends and family. I'm sure he probably had a suite, but I'm sure he was, well hooked up.
Do you think Coach had any practice ones? Because it looked pretty smooth for him on the shotgun. I was actually decently impressed.
I was thinking the same thing. I mean, for a head coach to do that, you don't see that very often, if at all. So for him to get up there and show the guys that he's just
Tucker
one of the
Kraft, Edgerrin Cooper, Josh Jacobs.
Evan Williams, I think, was up there with them on night 2. Yes,
but to Billy's point, a team that drinks together wins together.
100%. A lot of bonding around a keg, not as much kale.
The first thing I thought about when I saw the whole line together up there, I'm like, all right, good, we got a unit now that can kind of.
Did you see your boy? Was that Sean Ryan in the overalls, or was that Jordan Morgan that was rocking the overalls? There were some interesting looks there on Friday night.
It was.
Definitely some guys that understood. Hey, I'm at a country concert, so I'm gonna have to dress for success.
Cowboy hats too.
Yeah, for sure.
It's one of those situations. I'm glad I'm not like famous, because like if I had to go up and shotgun a beer, I would fail miserably and become a meme.
When was the last beer? When was the last time you shotgunned a beer?
I can't remember. Last time I tried to. I've never successfully shotgunned that one.
Everybody's like, "Oh, Bakhtiari would be proud." Well, Bakhtiari, man, and Billy's been known to do this with Admirals and stuff too. Like the plastic cup, the clear plastic cup. Ain't no hiding there. You're chugging. Aaron Rodgers can attest to that. Shotgunning a beer, you can kind of fake your way through that. You could throw it down with it still half full. I guess you could.
You're supposed to spill some on a shotgun, 100%. That's one that if you are going to miss some and lose some, that's the one to do. Because plus you can also boot it. Like Combs does, you're losing some of the beer in there anyway.
Yeah, I'm with Armen though. I've never a shotgun guy. I can sit and drink beer all day, all night, but I've never been a shotgun guy. I was never a beer bong guy in college. Couldn't do it.
I'm with you. I don't have that skill. I just don't. I'll drink them. I'm with you. Drink for distance.
That's it. Perfect. I remember watching guys at college. I sat there with dumbfounded, with my mouth open, watching that giant beer bong just go whoosh, right into their gut. And I'm like,
impressive.
How do you do that?
It is fun. It is fun.
Billy, it's a skill you have. It's a party trick.
Yeah, it hasn't been busted out in quite some time. I was at a golf outing this weekend, and generally that would be the time that you would shotgun a beer. I don't know that I've shotgunned one in 2 or 3 years.
No, but Billy,
that's sad.
You maybe haven't shotgun one, but you've done a good job with the chugging. Like you've done it at the Bucks game. You've done it at the Admirals game a couple times to fire them up. There's only one. Like, have you done a Brewers game yet? Have they got you on camera doing one? That's the next step, I think.
Well, listen, I only bring it out for big time games.
Well, that's what I mean.
I only bring it out for big time.
At Brewers games, he's too busy with the little ones.
Yeah, I'm too busy. I'm too busy getting yogurt bites out and snack bars.
I'm not saying in front of that. Not those nights. Well, I mean, for the big playoff nights.
Well, listen, if the youngster is there though, and they flash the camera on for a big time game, maybe a Cubs Brewers game, He'll learn something about Pops.
You will learn.
Yeah, he'll learn something about Pops today.
Is there training involved in this to keep?
Oh, here it is.
What is it?
Oh,
Is it the
there is.
larynx? What is it?
Yeah, you're just the whole
Esophagus.
You got to have that.
I do have
throat.
a clip of both Billy and I here on the Tron a little bit here from a Brewers game. I don't know if you guys
from
saw
us at
that.
us at the game with our boy John. Yeah,
You're
see
kinda
there was
drinking.
just a little splash in that cup. There
not a
wasn't
full
even
jug.
anything in there.
My guy Dan Needles, this reminds me, he had the skill where he would take like a beer that was a plastic cup, mind you, the standard, not a solo cup, the clear ones, and he'd have it 3/4 to a half full, and somehow he would put the whole mouth of the cup into his mouth, and with no hands, throw it back and chug that beer.
Wow,
that's amazing.
That way, I'm like, whoa, that's impressive on a number of levels.
ECA was thinking that yesterday.
Exactly. That was something else.
Wow.
Now there's a lot of years of practice of being the fat kid in school, having to do the class clown tricks. I think it also starts from like, oh, somebody brings in the birthday treat. Who's going to eat this Krispy Kreme donut in one bite? Everybody looks over at Billy. Everybody knows Billy's going to try to eat the cupcake in one bite to get the cheap laugh. Everyone knows Billy's going to drink the water bottle and smash it back to try to get the quick laugh. So there's some good training there.
Don't forget this, the Animal House reference. Bluto going through the buffet, sucking down the jello and
100%.
putting a cheeseburger in his mouth in one bite.
Yeah, right down the line. That's awesome. That's awesome.
That is-
I was surprised the other night when collectively, would you have 130,000, something like that at Lambeau? Only the ejections were in the teens. And I think there was only 2 or 3 arrests, which
That's
is
good to see.
for that many people.
Numbers.
Yeah,
that
'cause
much beer drinking.
There was a Chesney show recently there where they
That's
had
right.
like, almost triple digits arrests.
Yeah.
I think it was insane.
We saw that here every other year.
Leap
When Kenny's here every other year, it seems, and you always see people not even making it out of the parking lot.
Why is that? Are people you think less imbibing, or they're more focused on the show? I think it's because they're spending so much money now on these shows. Nobody wants to lose their chance to see it. But that's an
part of
Armen
it.
thing. That's an Armen way to
And
look
beer's
at it.
not cheap. Especially if
Yeah.
you're going to drink if you're drinking your own, I guess you could get as worked up as you
Or
want.
they just bringing
But-
gummies in now. Is that what it is?
Maybe that's an element of that too.
Might have something to do with it.
If you go to the stadium, you get 5 friends, you're probably dropping what, 70,
No.
60, 70, $80 on a round of beers?
On a round. Yeah,
I had
100%.
heard that the Saturday show sold out like instantly, and then they added the Friday show on the front end, and that didn't sell as briskly, but they still got over 40. So it was, the total attendance for the weekend was like 90 to 100K.
Well, Ticketmaster, Live Nation, they do this dynamic pricing where it's an exorbitant amount for some shows, and then as you get closer, it starts ticking down. And by game day or show day, it's a really reasonable concert ticket. Now, the seat might not be as good, but you're going to get in the place if you want to see a show.
Yeah.
When did they start that? Because it feels like a relatively new one, and it's kind of been hurting them, hasn't they?
I think the first time I remember it was that Morgan Wallen show at American Family Field 3 years ago. Was it? And I remember upper 4-level terrace level was going for $150. By show day, it was $49 for that ticket.
I know they just lost like a major suit and stuff with Live Nation
They did.
Ticketmaster, but the sleaze in that industry and what they've done, where tickets go on sale online at 10 a.m. Friday. You're on at like 9:59, 10 a.m. And then everything you're offered is Ticketmaster verified resale, where they're scalping their own tickets.
They basically set their
face
own
value is
market.
150, but now you can buy these for 600.
Yeah.
That's why
verified resale by Ticketmaster. They're scalping their own
Yes.
tickets. It's so sleazy. It's just
That's why I always push back at the idea of face value. There's no such thing as face value anymore. Face value is what they set their own ticket market to be.
And they
in the
did a lot
secondary.
of things in the past, and they put these safeguards in to kind of circumvent the scalping industry, because StubHub and why are they making this money and we're selling these tickets for this? And the artists, no one pays for music anymore, really. No one buys physical.
Right.
Very few people buy vinyl
Albums.
or CD.
There is a resurgence in vinyl right now.
There is, but it's like
vinyls and CDs getting
but
sold.
it's so many people just listen for free on the streaming services or on even YouTube is like the number one purveyor of music these days. So the artists have to make money on touring. So they have to charge high ticket prices. The merch, you have the $75 T-shirt now. It's just
That's not exaggerating, by the way.
it's sad.
Yeah, my wife bought a $58
by
concert
the
T-shirt
way,
a couple of years ago.
Apparently there's a club in Milwaukee, and I just saw it I heard it rumbling a while back, but there's a club in Milwaukee where the cover charge, it's only open from like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but the cover charge is $80 for guys and $60 for women.
What?
Cover
In
charge.
Milwaukee?
Like, is Jay-Z in the house or
man,
what? Like,
things have changed since I used to
Armen,
go out.
since you were going out for
Armen, you line it up?
$5.
I clearly listen. When I used to go
mean-
out, I used to go to apartment 720. the only thing the cover charge was saying hi to Latrell when you walked in. Yeah. Sprewell was always there.
Check your ID. That was the cover.
60 for girls is the one that's the most surprising.
That is surprising.
Man, go to Vegas. It's
Luke
cheaper.
Combs made some history. He's the first artist to play like a residency back-to-back nights at Lambeau. They've never done that. They've done one-offs, but never.
It's been rare to have a concert there at all.
Yeah,
no doubt. For him to do a whole weekend. And I think this is going to be the Packers aren't dummies. I think this is going to be the future, man. Not all the time, but you're probably going to get a couple, 3 a year, kind of like what Alpine Valley does.
Who are the other acts that could grab back-to-back nights? If you can sell out one night, you can sell out two, or you can get close to that.
Bruno Mars could do it.
Foo Fighters,
but we can't get Bruno out of Park MGM, can we? Do they allow him? Can we rent him for some? Or
wouldn't that be something? Last time he played here was Summerfest, probably 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah. He's got a street name after now, but he's busy either
he's allowed to leave.
He's busy either playing a show or playing craps.
AmFam needs to step up the concert.
They haven't had a big one.
Yeah, they had. So they have a cancellation. Was it last year? Was it Billy Joel? Right?
Yeah, because of the health thing and the
you're right.
Joel and Sting.
We're used to 3-4 shows a year at AmFam.
Yeah, and once if they get the HVAC upgrade, they can do them later into the year, which
that would
help them. But yeah, I was thinking about that because about a year ago when Ed Policy was getting ready to take over from Mark Murphy, we went and did the car wash with him, and I went up and we interviewed him, and one of us, being a Springsteen guy, and he turns out he's a Springsteen guy. And I asked him about it, and he lit up like, "Oh, we've had talks, we've made offers, we've made inquiries, we would like to get." And he's like, "Well, one thing I'd like to do as Packers president, bring Bruce Springsteen to Lambeau Field. Think it'd be amazing. A great match." And like the PR guy, Jason Waller's just like, "Don't ask him about that anymore.
Please don't do that
I'm
again.
Sick of hearing about that. Please don't talk to him about that. No more."
It feels like Kenny is like taking over the Buffett roles, that like big time touring, like feel good vibes. Everyone's gonna like him forever.
It's true.
That beachy thing.
That's still the biggest show though in country because of Luke Combs and Morgan Wallen might beg to differ, but Kenny puts. Similar to what Luke did with Dierks Bentley, Kenny always puts a major headline on right before him, and that's you're going to get 4 or 5 name acts. What Luke had was some good up and comers the other day, but you're always going to get 4 or 5 acts with multiple number ones if you're at a Kenny Chesney show.
Got another smaller scale country act coming to town this week for the Christian Yelich home plate charity benefit on Thursday. Jake Owen playing that one.
We had a chance to talk to Jake a couple weeks ago. He loves Milwaukee, man. He's played here so many times over the years, and the fact that he gets to play with Christian Yelich. When we talked to Yelich, he brought up the fact that he's been a fan of Jake Owen since he was with the Marlins because they were both down in Florida around the same time. Yeah, a lot of beaching.
Well, Jake Owen, that was when he really was cresting with all those hits and that era. That was a big. So I'm at Summerfest, I think, soon after that.
That was a huge night.
That was a big one. Yeah, that was a good one.
He's big in Milwaukee.
On the way out here, Dolph, I got to ask what it's like to get a notification or to get texts and stuff that your brother's name is in the news over the weekend.
I was surprised.
Fred McCaffrey's been gone from Iowa, and yet here he is.
You see your brother with a picture there in a New York Post article. You're like, what the hell?
Billy was nervous.
Yeah, we were nervous. We saw that.
I was too. But I was surprised to see that. I mean, that's a story that's floated around Iowa for several years with the McCaffrey family and specifically Margaret. I think, and I'm not there and I don't talk to him often about stuff like this, but I think Gary and Fran were on pretty good terms towards the end of that relationship. I know they both were suspended for different reasons at the same time, and Fran invited him over for pizza to watch an Iowa game on TV. But yeah, I mean, if you talk to any of those guys in that Iowa media corral, Scott Docterman, Keith Murphy in Des Moines, those guys, they kind of all went through it with that family and more specifically Margaret.
I was going to say one other person, it sounds like. It just sounds like she was just terrorizing Tornado Alley.
Those guys are, high-level coaches now, especially now it's worse than ever, but the pressure, and they're very high-strung. They have to be to get to a level of success. Yep. And that relationship between the main guy, like your brother Gary is the Matt LePay of Iowa, and he's like, beloved there by fans and an institution. But that relationship between like football coach, basketball coach, and play-by-play guy, sometimes it's fraught. Sometimes it's not It's not all copacetic. Sometimes there's tension there.
And you're with them, every road trip, meals and coaches shows on TV and radio. Yeah. So it certainly gets strained at times.
It can be dicey.
Hey, Fran found out you don't mess with Gary Dolphin in Iowa.
That's right.
You're out of here.
Yeah. Sorry, Margaret.
And a funny thing, like the one time I had him, and Bill, you probably did too, at the Final Four in the Radio Row, interviewed him. He was like, I'm like, you're so sane. You're such a nice guy.
Yeah.
I hate you on the sideline. You're psycho.
Right.
What's the deal?
And a good coach. He just took Penn to the NCAA tournament this year. But, Hawks moved on, and sadly, there's still friction there between that family and and fans of the university.
Yeah.
I would be, too, if the new guy all of a sudden had more success than I ever did.
Well,
right? I mean, can you imagine how salty you would be?
That's a big factor.
Wow.
And he's a nice guy, and he's an Iowa guy and all that stuff.
Yeah, first Elite Eight in 40 years.
Yeah, big factor. Dolph, thank you for dropping by.
Thanks, fellas.
We appreciate it as always. We're moving ahead. Game balls and kicks to the balls. It's the Monday edition of the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin. Continuing the Monday edition of the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin, 920 Milwaukee, 1070 Madison. Drew, Billy, and Armen bringing it to you. Game balls and kicks to the balls, 877-794-1973. I guess sometimes the game ball, it's a two-sided coin.
I like that.
I got a game ball and a kick.
It's an oblong
I didn't
ball.
think I would do this, but a game ball, because I don't really care that much about pregame shows.
Mm-hmm.
But a game ball to the folks on Amazon Prime, Taylor Rooks, Blake Griffin, Steve Nash. Game ball to them, and conversely, a kick to the balls to a guy who's no stranger to this department, Shams Charania.
Oh, no.
Because they get all excited to announce the MVP yesterday leading into Game 7, and they're going to give it to SGA, who's going to win back-to-back MVPs. And they had to announce, Taylor Rooks announced that Shams jumped the route and tweeted it before their big announcement. It was like the big announcement on Amazon Prime. They get to break some news. And Shams had it beforehand that he had won the award. And then
in the middle of the night, what was it, at 4 in the morning he put that thing out?
It was super, it was like our hours.
Well, and it's like
I got the audio if you want.
Okay, yeah, but Taylor Rooks announced it, and she said she's got Nowitzki and Nash there and MVPs. Like, go ahead, Armen, play.
Dirk and Steve, you all both won MVPs, but I don't remember Shams spoiling it way back then.
I don't think he was a shot. He was a baby then.
Yeah, what are we doing, man? Like, it's Sunday, Shams. Go to brunch, you nerd. Come on.
Blake Griffin with the mic drop. Go to brunch, you nerd.
That was almost the kick to the
that
ball.
Was,
that might have had to have been. That is good, dude.
Glorious. And now Blake Griffin, it's funny because I like him more as in this role. I didn't really, as a player, I thought he had more juice than he probably deserved as a player.
More juice as a college player, maybe, than an NBA player.
Yeah. So, but man, oh man, that was a great line. And Taylor Rooks saying, I don't think Shams spoiled that one for you. And is that a story you need to break? Like, you're the insider of all insiders. I mean, come on.
But again, Drew, I think like we've seen it a lot now over the last couple of years, seeing him into this role. I don't know that he's breaking a ton of news. I think he's getting told thing, and then he's like, all right, sweet, I'll send it right here, which is part of the job. 100%. It can be a part of the job.
You're not a good reporter unless people tell you stuff.
But it's more, it almost feels more like he gets the memo. He gets a memo instead of like told information, if that makes sense.
Obviously, like, they're going to give the award, and SGA's got to be ready for the, presentation.
And they had the camera crew. He bought all the gifts for everybody. Yeah.
And his agent's in on it. And if you're tied into the agent, but even then, is that a story you need to break? Like, awards and like, I don't know. Here I am saying this, but one of the big scoops of my baseball writing career is when Milwaukee hosted the All-Star game last time at then Miller Park. I laid the groundwork.
Sure.
Because I was covering the World Series the year before, and that's when Arizona won. Arizona beat, and I'm interviewing Craig Counsell and Damian Miller and the Wisconsin Ties, and my friend, former Brewers bench coach Bob Melvin was the bench coach for Bob Brenly on that team that won the World Series. And as they're celebrating, before I left the ballpark that night, I went back down to the Diamondbacks clubhouse to congratulate Bo Mel, and I said, hey, now you guys are going to be you're going to manage the All-Star game in Milwaukee, and you're going to have to give me a little heads up. He's like, call me, I got you. And so
I got that one on the back channel.
I called him the Saturday before they were going to announce the All-Star, the reserves and stuff on Sunday, and I called him on Saturday, and I'm like, hey, this is the call. I told you, back in October, this is in November, this is the call. And he said, I got you. He's like, yeah, we just had the meeting. You're two guys, like I guess Sexton or Hernandez or whoever it was. Yeah, I got your two guys. And in fact, here's the guys who made it. He gave me the whole team.
You listed out the entire roster.
The whole NL roster. And I ran it on Sunday paper as a scoop. So I scooped ESPN's announcement of the thing. So I guess I'm a hypocrite, because if I had the info, I would have done what Shams did too. You're in the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin.
I'm Doug Russell. No series sweep for the local 9.
As Jeffers slams one high and deep to left field, back it goes, and that is gone. On a breaking ball, Ryan Jeffers with his 7th home run, and the Twins answer back and lead 4-3.
The Brewers do take 2 of 3 from Minnesota. 5-4 the final score from Target Field on Sunday. The Crew at Chicago for 3 with the Cubs starting tonight at 6:40. Elsewhere in the Central, bad day for the division. Everyone else lost. The Cubs fall to the White Sox 9-8. The Cardinals lose to the Royals 2-0. The Reds fall to the Guardians 10-3. The Pirates get dumped by the Phillies 6-0. NBA playoffs, Cleveland is moving on. The Cavaliers beat up on the Pistons 125-94. The Cavs move on to the Eastern Conference Finals against the Knicks. Coming up tonight, the Western Conference Finals gets underway between the Spurs and the Thunder. The final hour of the Huddle starts now. I'm Doug Russell on Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin.
Good morning, Wisconsin, and welcome to the Huddle.
I'm all for someone huddling if you have something to say.
It's time to wake up and talk about the teams you love.
Everybody wake up! Everybody wake
with the guys you love.
It's just about getting the group together. I need you, you need me today. Let's keep touching each other. Let's make sure we feel each other. Let's make sure we smell each other's breath.
Watch us on YouTube, Facebook, and X.
You need 15 or 20 huddles to correlate with a number of cameras. Take the cameras off the field, and there'll be no huddles.
Now gather around because it's time to huddle up.
West left slot, 323 wide stick on 1. Ready, Biller? If it looks like man coverage, I'll check. I'll go 200 yes. You got to cut and crack. Now cut and crack. Red, right, 18 Bob on 1. Ready, cut him and crack.
If you look at this play, what we're trying to get is a seal here and a seal here, and try to run this play in the alley.
We know exactly what we got to do. All right? That's all the good boy got to do. Let's go out and kick some tape. All right? 1, 2, 3.
Keep doing what you're doing. Sit our guys after and make the play.
Be right, all the way outside, wide, left, fake, 396 bag, D hand, C puck. Is that long enough for you?
I want you to be proud of your profession. It's a great profession. Go out there and play this ball game like I know you can play it.
With Drew Olson,
mythical, legendary figure.
Bill Schmid,
Oh, my God, this man's been out all night.
Armen, Sarian.
This is it. Don't get scared now.
Sanchez, we ready?
Fox Sports Radio Wisconsin is on the air.
Rolling through a Monday in the good land, just like the little storms that are passing through our area. Hope everybody is has their car under cover and didn't get any hail damage. Drew, Billy, and Armen bringing it to you. 920 Milwaukee, 1070 Madison, worldwide on the iHeartRadio app and streaming live on Facebook, X, and YouTube for your early risers out there. It's Game Balls and Kicks of the Balls Monday. Keep them coming. 877-794-1973 is the talk and text line. Line 1 of the talk and text line right now occupied by our friend Mark Kass, who joins us from the Wisconsin Athletic Hall of Fame and Team Lammy. Mark, thank you for getting up early with us. We appreciate it.
Oh, it's no big deal. I've already been out for a walk in this great weather, so it's beautiful out there.
Atta baby. We love our early risers around here.
You Hall of Fame mentality and mindset.
How do you get to the Hall of
9
Fame
a.m. than everybody.
I mean, you got to get up early, right? I mean, you don't sleep in. You got to get there all day. So actually a beautiful day out, a little light rain, no big deal.
No big deal. No big deal. Hey, there is a big deal, though. Tell us what's going on with the Wisconsin Athletic Hall of Fame. I saw the announcement Friday, and we wanted to hit you up to let you tell some folks about what
you're really, this is something pretty cool. We're very excited about it. We're launching our first membership kind of program here. So you can join the Hall of Fame. We have 3 levels, from the kind of the introductory level to the medium level to the all-exclusive level, where you get access to everything. And the whole idea here is really to give people access to these Hall of Famers, access to our programs where these Hall of Famers are at. Drew, I mean, this, you've been involved a long time. You know what goes on here. There's some incredible names involved in this organization. I mean, if you look who's in the Hall of Fame, from Hank Aaron to Vince Lombardi to Bud Selig. I mean, even nowadays, you can come to an event and see Bonnie Blair, Donald Driver. I mean, there's just a lot of great names involved here, and really the ability to have access to them. To have access to programs important. It's also about the long running kind of thing here. We've been around a long time, almost coming up on 80 years, and it's important to continue this tradition. So we really wanted to launch this as a way to have loyal kind of members to be involved with the hall all year long. So Drew, I mean, you know this, you've been around a long time. It's a cool thing. It really is. I mean, kind of walk down near the arena there and to see the names on the plaques, it's just a cool thing to see.
It's real. I was able to walk my 3-year-old and 1-year-old. And then now the 1-year-old Mark didn't understand anything. However, my 3-year-old watches the '96 Super Bowl documentary on YouTube every day. So I got to walk him by Leroy Butler and Reggie White and Brett Favre, and he was just in awe to see, and that kind of ability to tell the stories of these athletes to the next generation. How cool has that been? Because it is something that stands the test of time. They're the Dave Robinsons of the world my dad told me about.
I mean, it's kind of cool when you walk down that row and you see the names and you forget who all played here, whether it was in hockey, whether it was in college, whether it was for the Packers, the Brewers, the Bucks. So many great names, even just in the past few years, being able to put Ernie Johnson in. I mean, who knew Ernie Johnson grew up here, and his history and his love for the city? Obviously, Joe Thomas last year, Mason Crosby, obviously our class of this year with Mark Murphy and Ryan Braun. I mean, just think of that's just the last few years. Go back to, the Hank Aarons and the Bonnie Blairs and Eric Heidens. And, and kind of what I think is cool about this is that it's just not the Brewers, the Bucks, and the Packers. It's all sports. So you have these speed skaters. You have a sailor for a yacht with Buddy Helgas. You had just some great names of individuals who had tremendous impact on our state. And I think you're right. To show your 3-year-old and to show your 1-year-old and to show all the future, it's important that this Hall of Fame lives on. And here's a great opportunity to 1, help support us, but 2, to learn more about it.
By becoming a member, you get advance notice of events. And you guys don't just do the induction ceremony this year, July 8th at the Marcus Center. Fabulous
always an awesome
venue.
night.
I mean, it's
great
venue. It's a great night. Last year Ernie Johnson brought the house down with his speech, and this year with Ryan Braun and Mark Murphy and Bob Gansler, who was one of the first coaches I covered as a college student covering the UWM soccer team. He was a soccer legend, coached the U.S. team in the World Cup. He's a national/international star and Milwaukee's own, and Bob Gansler is just a great addition to the hall for sure. And you're recognizing some other athletes, some Olympians. But you guys have luncheons and programming, and I was at our friends at Central Standard. Shameless plug for Central Standard Craft Distillery, the Craft House and Kitchen, where you had a little intimate sit down with Marcus Johnson that you taped the podcast with and let people watch that. And that was really cool to go see Marcus kind of unfiltered. It was great. He has so many stories.
And he was unfiltered that night, wasn't he? He was telling great stories about
stories about white men can't jump.
White men can't
his audition
jump.
and like what it was like being in the movie.
Telling stories about guys that he played against, and kind of that kind of thing. We've done a couple of those. We have 3 more planned this year, but actually we did one with Bonnie Blair. I mean, in January as a preview for the Olympics, and she talked about this guy named Jordan Stolz, and she said he'll do pretty well. Well, I think he did pretty well. To have these access to these athletes and these stars, and just the ability to hear them talk and to hear the stories. The thing I loved, Drew, and you're right, was the stories Marcus told. The stories about Milwaukee, him coming to Milwaukee and not owning a winter coat, and he kind of learning how to adjust to living in Milwaukee after, obviously growing up in LA. And, it's just, to me, that's what's cool about the Hall of Fame. Someone who loves sports, you guys all love sports, to hear these individuals kind of have these stories. I mean, Ernie Johnson last year, anybody who didn't leave that room with just some great kind of experiences and kind of lessons. I mean, he taught us about life that night, Drew. I mean, he just things that were just amazing. And, kind of this year, I'm looking forward to Ryan Braun. Think of Ryan Braun's career, what he did in Milwaukee, and the stories he's going to have to tell about, 08 and what he did with CC Sabathia and then the 12 team in terms of making the playoffs and kind of what that, I mean, that's just cool stuff for people that love sports. But I also think it's just important to all of us to understand what this Hall of Fame means to our region.
July 8th is the induction ceremony. July 20th, you got a golf outing, right? At Grand Geneva.
Think about this.
WIHallOfFame.com is the website to learn about this. But the membership program is like, it's a sustaining thing, and it's an insider thing. People like to be insiders. You'll get a ticket. So lay out first, if you would, Mark, the levels of membership and what people can get by joining the Hall right now.
Right now you can kind of get in for just a small amount of money. I think $75 a year. Just kind of get into things. You get to come to the induction event right there. I mean, is $100 value. You get access to some of our events. You get an exclusive autograph item from one of our legends, to the all access program, which I think is probably the number one thing for people. And at a couple $100 there again, you get access to the induction. You get a VIP walk on the Walk of Fame. So you guys could take your kids down there with us and get explained to who these people are and kind of Hall of Fame came about. And then kind of our Legends Club, and one that's, I think, cool because you get pretty much access to everything. We have a lot of events from kind of what you, as you said, we have, with speaker series and the podcast, you're talking about 8 or 9 or more events a year. And at every one of these events is one of the Hall of Famers. So that's a cool thing about this. This is not just me up there talking to you up there talking, Drew. It's the Hall of Famers who all these people want to see. So to me, that's the cool part of this. It's access. You guys, we all love access to these guys. And what's interesting is I have not, and I've been doing this now for a couple of years. Every one of the Hall of Famers I've met has been so nice and so open to talk. And the other thing they love Milwaukee. And they love Wisconsin, even if they're not from here. I mean, like you talk to, obviously, like Mason Crosby, and he talks about how this is home for him now, even though he was, he grew up somewhere else. These guys love the state and they love Wisconsin too. To hear them really talk about that is pretty cool.
Yeah, and that was like Armen Green a couple of years ago. I got the pleasure of being with him on stage when he got inducted, and he spoke to somebody that did just now. He just lives here now. This is his home, and the amount of events, Mark, that was one that I didn't necessarily. As Shaq said one time, I was unfamiliar with your game. I didn't. I thought it was kind of just the one big event, the podcast and everything. The amount of events is a little bit eye opening to a lot of people that I just don't think fully understand how many you guys actually have.
And I think that's important because a Hall of Fame is cool, but if you don't have access to it and you don't hear about it, it's just those plaques on the walkway, which is great. I mean, don't get me wrong, but the opportunity here, we're doing one in June with Steve Novak and the CEO of the Marquette University. In fall, we'll have a CEO and another athlete on stage. I mean, I can kind of let this out of the bag. We're going to do a podcast here soon with Armen Green. I've been talking to Armen and he wants to come back. He wants to come on. He's going to be here for our event on the 20th of July for golf. So, we're going to do a podcast with him just to give you access to what they're doing now But I also think the stories, again, it gets back to when you get to ask Sidney Moncrief kind of what it was like to play against Michael Jordan. And he tells you it's not a big deal. I'm like, come on, Sid, it was a big deal. It's like, no, I had to approach him like any other player because I wanted to be that guy. So it was, or to get to ask Crosby about his one and only kind of Lambeau leap. And to hear about that and, how he made it on that day when his wife was in the stands for the first time after getting over cancer. And to hearing stories like that, to me, the access to these guys and these women is just incredible because of the stories you get. Here's a good one, Drew. You talk about Bonnie Blair. She had won her last Olympic medal. She told us that she could have gone home for a parade and all the hoopla. But do you know what she did? She went to another race. I believe it was in Norway, so she could, because she wanted to have her all-time time. She didn't want to go home after the Olympics. She wanted to go actually race again.
Yeah.
Isn't that incredible to hear stories like that where they're just, the drive of the people that they are and just how they're made up, I think is a great way to learn.
Well, I think so. I think those little stories and tidbits are what we all love, and the chance to, walk on that Hall of Fame walkway, look at all the plaques, look at the names and consider them. All the sports fans. Local sports fans love that. Love knowing the connection those team, players or figures have made in our community, and it's really a great thing. So I think it's one of the underrated things people don't realize we think about, and it's really a great thing to experience, witness, and a great thing to be involved in.
Very true. WIHallOfFame.com, the website, and there's a tab right there about become a member. In addition to all the information about the induction ceremony coming up July 8th, golf tournament July 20th. Mark Kass, thanks for hanging out with us this morning. Thanks for getting up early. You're already up early.
I'm already up.
Walk in.
He's a Hall of Fame, baby. That's a mindset.
I'm going back out for another walk. You guys coming with?
There you go. All right. Thanks, Mark. Appreciate it.
Take care.
All right. Mark Kass, the executive director of the Wisconsin Athletic Hall of Fame and senior vice president of Team Lammy.
I gotta say, Drew, when we were walking through the Walk of Fame, I was telling that story. We went to the Marquette game a couple of weeks ago, or not a couple of months ago, and it could not have been windier and colder on the walk in. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, Carson wanted me to stop at every single one of these damn things and read every bit of it. I was like, buddy, we will go back here in July. we will come back here in June, and I will give you the full lowdown on the 66 Packers, okay? We got 5 different guys to be able to tell you about not doing it right now in the 30-mile-an-hour wind.
He's a real one. You got to love that. I can't tell you the amount of times I've wasted time, and I shouldn't say wasted. That's the wrong term. I've spent too much time on that walkway and being late for things when I really should have been going on my way. I got to read these 10 plaques quick. Every time you pass by that walkway, there's another name, another plaque you haven't seen. You have to consider, you have to think about, you have to kind of absorb. And I always joke about how it'd be great to have MVP Statue Park. That's basically what that is, right? Mm-hmm. All the plaques, it's like our own little sports Hall of Fame right there. Well, it is obviously Wisconsin Athletic Hall of Fame, but we had the plaques right there. So maybe we can expand that. That would be great to make that
be pretty
MVP
cool.
Park. Yeah.
So we've been talking Hall of Fame. Billy, time for our current electric superhero of the day. Do you have any in mind? There's some good candidates. Donovan Mitchell had a pretty good day.
Okay, I was glad you started there. I was thinking Donovan Mitchell, but I got to think Aaron Rai, right? Wins the PGA Championship 290-1. He's somebody's superhero this morning, Drew.
Whoa.
You want to talk about an EV charger charging up your life and maybe your bank account? If that was the play that you had at the Potawatomi Sportsbook, that's what Current Electric is trying to do. EV chargers with gas prices going on right now. Yeah, might be the time to be electric, might need an EV charger. And for the month of May, Current Electric has you set up because for the month of May, they're offering a free EV charger. You get a free EV charger when you purchase installation. Go and get more information about it right now. Call current.com. Goodness gracious.
Love that. 877-794-1973. NicoletLaw.com talk text line. Still time for you to get us your game balls and kicks the balls. Oh, and before we'd be remiss if we didn't mention the passing of Sherm Lewis, former Packers offensive
man.
Yes.
Sherm Lewis was a legendary member of the coaching staff of those 90s Packers. He was Mike Holmgren's right-hand man, 92-99, the offensive coordinator. And for a lot of fans that don't remember, from that great offensive staff, he was kind of the one that gets forgotten about because he didn't get the head job opportunity. It's right. He went through the Eric Bieniemy stuff that they went through now because Mike obviously made all the play calls, put the installation in, and got a lot of pub from that. And eventually, Andy Reid and Gruden and all those guys got jobs, and he didn't really get a chance and probably should have. for one reason or another. So Sherm Lewis, rest in peace. He was a great, great member of the Packers coaching staff in the 90s.
Also held it down at the stadium view quite often.
There you go.
A legend at that corner.
Mike Holmgren told a great story about one of the games in 96. It was against the Rams, and the Packers have been struggling. And it was in the America's Game documentary that he got so emotional that he couldn't call it anymore, and he told Sherm to call it. You call it. I can't see my plays anymore on the play sheet. You call it. And the Packers came back and won that game. And that kind of turned the season around in 96, if people remember.
So did he call the Doug Evans pick six?
I don't know what he called that one. I'm sure he was happy about it. That was the big play, as you remember, Billy. Yes, it was a big play. Offense got going in the second half there. Brett had something to do with that, but that was just a cool story, I thought.
So awesome.
Very cool.
Sherm, you call it. I can't. You call it, Sherm. I can't call it.
That's pretty wild. Before we wrap up this segment and get ready to have Hunter Baumgardt join us, kick to the balls to whoever broke into the Nashville Sounds clubhouse and stole equipment.
Oh no, the man. Okay. I thought that video was AI. I watched it. I thought it was way too good to be actual. I thought it was way too clean of a walk-in. I thought it was totally AI.
How about those two idiots sauntering in like they were like really fooling everybody, like real slow, like sauntering
No
in?
one's gonna look at me as I'm sniffling over here.
Idiots. I'm glad you're happy with the cleats you got or whatever.
Great call, Drew.
Find
Great
those
call.
guys.
Oh my God, that is something else. All right, when we come back, Hunter Baumgardt's going to join us. We will recap what happened. He was at Target Field. We got to find out what the fan experience was like behind enemy lines. And then Brewers Cubs this evening at Wrigley Field. It's going to be worth staying up late for you, boy.
Oh, yeah, 100%. These are going to be some late nights, Drew.
Yep. Got to have it. When we come back, Hunter's going to join us. You're in the Huddle. Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin. Huddled up on a Monday, Drew Wilson, Bill Schmidt, Armen Sarian. Let's have a team meeting, shall we? Let's welcome in Hunter Baumgardt, our baseball go-to guy,
teams?
who I didn't know, Hunter, that you were in Minneapolis behind enemy lines this weekend. What was that like?
Yeah, good morning, guys. I went to the Saturday night game, the one they won 2-1, the Henderson Patrick show. And it was great. It was my first time ever at Target Field. Just went as a fan and enjoyed it. And I tell you, the Let's Go Brewers chants were early and often, even before first pitch. Yeah, a lot of Brewers fans made the trip to Target Field, and you could argue it was maybe louder when the Brewers did something good rather than the Twins. I know Twins fans are not as exactly happy with the state of their ball club right now, and I think that kind of showed with the passion over the weekend of the two fan bases. But yeah, it was loud in there when Chourio hit that go-ahead home run. I'll tell you that much.
And you saw history. You saw Chad Patrick's first save.
I did. I can say I was there. When people ask about it 30 years down the road.
Right.
Patrick's first save, I was there.
Yeah.
That historic moment. I thought even better. You mentioned the Let's Go Brewers chants. The visual in the ninth inning when the game is about to get wrapped up, and the whole lower level, Hunter, seemed like it was just all Brewers fans. Target City takeover. We like that, right? Let's take that thing over and enjoy it. They're not happy about a whole lot of things. Now, luckily, their hockey team and basketball team painted themselves in glory over the last couple of weeks, so they can be happy about that one. But for the excitement of the lineup, you mentioned the Chourio homer on Saturday. You get the Yelich bomb in his first game in a couple of days yesterday. Albeit you win 2-3, maybe not a great offensive vibe rolling into Chicago, but it could be a heck of a lot worse as you're a game and a half back going up against the Northsiders, who you're still chasing.
For sure. And you have your guys back now. With Yelich coming back yesterday, great to see a home run, too. I mean, that's just the cherry on top. Him just being in the lineup was the most important thing yesterday. Get a game under his belt before you go to Wrigley. Obviously, you want him for that series starting tonight at Wrigley, but great to get him a game and get him some confidence with that home run, too. So now you have, I feel like we're day to day with Yelich's back right now, but assuming all things went well yesterday and he wakes up feeling good today, then you are set to go for tonight. And you go back to May 4th when Chourio and Vaughn were activated, and that was 14 days ago. The Brewers are 8-3 since that day. They're in their 11 games since Chourio and Vaughn were activated. I have a feeling we may look back on that day as the season goes on is kind of a little bit of the turning point, because look, the expectations for this team were high, as we know, coming off of what last season was. But when you lose 3 of your top 5 hitters, that is going to change the fabric of your team. And we saw that. The good news is they were able to tread water, and now they're starting to take off. I mean, this team is 5-0-1 in their last 6 series. They haven't lost a series since that Pittsburgh series when Paul Skeens came in and almost hit them. The NFL draft weekend there in Milwaukee. So that was the last time they lost a series, and that's how you want to feel heading into this series in Chicago.
We are chatting with Hunter Baumgardt, our baseball go-to guy. He joins us on Mondays and Thursdays. He's brought to us by Import Minded, your trusted source for exceptional vehicle care on South 27th Street, just off of 894. Can't miss it in that kind of car alley that is that street. Armen knows it very well. Hunter, I don't know if this is intentional or not, but the way it laid out in the last 2 games against the Twins, the Brewers enter this series against the Cubs, and it is what it is. It's the first meeting. It's the Cubs, first time they've played since, the playoffs last year. But the top of the bullpen is rested and ready. You mentioned what happened on Saturday night, but yesterday they went Gasser, Anderson, Hall, Woodford, and now, the main guys, the arms are ready. So that, and with Sproat, who's been hot lately, and then the Miz, this shapes up to be a pretty exciting series. I don't think the Brewers could go into this much better placed than they are right now, other than stranding runners all weekend.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was the tough part. It's like they had, I think Adam McCalvey put it yesterday, that they had 11 chances yesterday against the Minnesota Twins, because it was just like, and Chourio himself was stranding, guys left and right yesterday, and it was like, just one of them goes through and you probably win the game. I mean, they're 8-2 in their last 10, and the 2 losses are like a 9th inning loss when you were 1 out away, and then a 1-run loss yesterday with a tying run 90 feet away. That's how good they've been playing overall. But you're right about the bullpen. I mean, Abner Uribe has not pitched in a few days. He was up both, I believe, Friday and or he pitched Friday. And then he was up on Saturday, but did not pitch. So he hasn't pitched Saturday or Sunday, which is good. McGill didn't pitch Saturday or Sunday. So that's good as well. Good to see him get the 1-run save. I think that was big for him on Friday night. So, don't let that go unnoticed. But yes, you have your guys. Aaron Ashby didn't pitch the last couple of days. I got to think that was a little bit of strategy wise going into Chicago. Also, hey, as Pat Murphy put it to us last week when talking about Chad Patrick, he's like, we know this guy's a multi-inning guy. He can go 3 to 4 innings. Now, is that in the front of a game, back of a game, middle of the game? It's kind of like the opponent doesn't know, and they just rode with Chad Patrick on Saturday night, and it worked, and that was magnificent and obviously held the bullpen to where it was. Yesterday with Gasser going only 4 innings, you were like, how are they going to cover it? They are able to do so without some of their top guys, even in a close game. So they are set up. Yeah, that bullpen set up really well.
Now, great lead in, Hunter, because you read my mind, you read my eyes, you knew exactly where I was going to ask you about that Chad Patrick move. Last week, you said it like, Murph let us know he's going to give us some bulk at some particular point in time. We just don't know when it's potentially going to be. I think we've had this conversation, like, does it matter when your best pitcher throws as long as he's out there dealing? And if it's in the back end of the game, maybe it ends up being better for you. Do you think that's a pairing, or is it just Chad Patrick could be deployed at any given time? You got to imagine his rest days are going to be a little bit different. I don't know they're going to keep him on a regular starter, but feels like he could be a little bit of a fireman or pair him up with Logan Henderson. That's a nice 1-2 combo.
For sure. You do like that 1-2 combo. I think with Chad, it is not necessarily going to be paired with a specific pitcher, but when you have these young guys who at times, that pitch count may go up. We saw with Gasser yesterday. To a certain extent, we saw with Henderson on Saturday because he was just working around a lot of traffic. Only gave up 1 earned run over 5 innings, but there was a lot of traffic against him. He was able to get out of some jams, which was great, and then that led to that win. But when you have young pitchers like that, you may need to cover some more out of the bullpen, and maybe using a guy who can give you length, who's been a good starter for you, been a good bullpen arm for you. Really, in any role, he's been pretty solid for you over the last year plus. You can use him in that role after any of these young pitchers. So I do think you'll continue to see that, whether it's just with Henderson, I'm not sure, but with these other pitchers, you could see him piggyback. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him start at some point. If they think the matchup is right with the lineup that one of these opponents is throwing out there, that maybe he gets another start, but I think he's in the bullpen, until further notice. I mean, Saturday night, he said after the game that like there was no conversations between innings. It was just like, all right, go get him, Chat. All right, go get him, Chat. Just kept going until they told him not to. They had Uribe up in the 9th, but didn't need it. He was able to get a smooth 9th inning and get that win. So I do think that this is going to be more of what we see out of Chad Patrick. I mean, when you look at what the Brewers have in their rotation, right? If you take the 6 guys, Crow started Friday, then Henderson, then Gasser, and then you have Sproat, Mizorowski, and Harrison against Chicago. So that's like 6 guys. Will they all stay up? I don't know. I mean, if I were to pick an odd man out, I think the clear one might be Gasser at this point. But, okay, if you have a rotation right now of Crow, Henderson, Sproat, Mizorowski, and Harrison, sign me up, because that's fantastic. Yeah. And the starting pitching overall has been great. And then you line up Chad Patrick maybe after one of those guys, or just when needed out of the bullpen. Maybe you forecast, we think we're going to need you this day, but be ready this day. I think you're in a great spot.
And that's another perfect lead in. He's like the best assist guy this side.
I was going to say,
Magic Johnson.
He's setting him up like
because time for our Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin injury report. Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin, orthowisconsin.com. There is a difference. The best when it comes to world-class care right here at home. Clinic opening in Johnson Creek. Let's check those guys out at orthowisconsin.com. Quinn Priester, I keep on hearing bad news. He goes up to Appleton, has a rough time. I'm starting to think maybe this is just going to be a lost year for Quinn Priester. I mean, you hold out hope, but it's not trending in a great direction. And I have heard next to nothing about Brandon Woodruff's, catch and progress and where he's at with his bullpen. So can you update us on all the injuries brought to us by Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin?
Yes. Well, the great news is that Yelich is back in the lineup, and he hit a home run yesterday. So let's
here we
can
go.
Celebrate
all
that.
Right, good news first. I like that one a lot better. Now we take the medicine.
Yes, exactly. So now we put a smile on our faces, and now that may go away a little bit. But Quinn Priester, rehab start for the Timber Rattlers on Saturday. The first inning he worked around a single and a walk, but then the second inning went like this: single, hit by pitch, bases loaded, walk, RBI single, strikeout, RBI single. He threw just 23 of his 47 pitches for strikes, and he only got 4 outs. The results continue to be really tough for Quinn Priester. And again, when these guys go on these rehab assignments, it's not always about results. We remember on the offensive side, Churio went like 1 for 13 or whatever, 1 for 18 in his rehab assignment last year, came in and hit a home run in Toronto. But I think when it's pitching, and when especially with this injury, getting the feel back in your wrist and how the ball comes out, just doesn't seem like it's all clicking yet for Quinn Priester. So I think that, I think the latest estimations were like early June. I got to think every time he goes out and it doesn't go as well, maybe, that pushes back a little bit. So maybe we're talking early to mid-June now. We'll keep an eye on it, but obviously that's not great. Brandon Woodruff did throw a bullpen session late last week, and it went well. He was pleased with it. It was a 25-pitch bullpen session. His next bullpen is scheduled for today at Wrigley, and this time he'll simulate going multiple innings. So that is kind of the next step for Woodruff. Again, I would think a late May, early June for Woodruff as well. So we're at May 18th. I would think I don't know if he'll necessarily need a rehab start from what Pat Murphy has said. So maybe 10 to 15 to 20 days we're out from him. Again, late May, early June, it looks like for Woodruff. So those are the updates on the two pitchers. But boy, they are more than treading water without those guys in the rotation right now.
That's the thing. Thankfully, the young guys have really stepped in and been great. And maybe Quinn, maybe it was the flannel. I mean, he had to wear those Uper uniforms.
Those are awful.
It was the Uper lumberjack look my man was in, and I know it's not a real flannel, but it's like, geez, I mean, you just get hot.
My man goes from starting game 1 of the NLCS to wearing jean-like baseball pants.
I know.
What a life! What a life!
You gotta get outs, Billy.
Baseball. Gotta love baseball.
He didn't get any of them.
That's the problem.
It might have to find himself out. Now, this one in particular, this week, sure, it's not going to decide anything, Hunter. However, Brewers Cubs has some real juice, and off of the Cubs weekend where they lose the juice-filled series against the Chicago White Sox, does feel like two teams kind of both going, I'm not going to say opposite directions because I don't think that something's going to go in the tank for the Northsiders, but they were so scolding hot. Ken Rosenthal put out a hilarious 1-minute video where he's like, hey, just so you know, Cub fans, Brewers are coming. Yeah, two 10-game winning streaks, and you only have a game and a half. All right, so it's not helping a whole lot. But do you feel like this is going to be the excitement, energy-filled series that I think Brewers fans are kind of building it up in their minds?
I think so. I mean, the Brewers have gained 4 games on the Cubs in the last 10. That's the difference right now. They've gone 8-2. Cubs have went 4-6. And these two are a lot closer than they were 10 days ago, from 5.5 out to 1.5 out. And again, it's not even Memorial Day yet. You don't put a ton into the standings, but you look at how teams are doing. And right now, yes, the Brewers are definitely hotter. I think it does. I think Cubs fans are definitely, after you get eliminated by your rival in the playoffs, I got to think that every time you play them is going to mean something. So I think Wrigley's going to probably be rocking. And it'll be a great environment for baseball over the next 3 days. I mean, we saw Wrigley rocking when they were playing the Reds, a week ago or 2 weeks ago when they were hot. So I think this series is going to be great. The pitching matchups are awesome. You're going to have to face Imanaga, who the Brewers have honestly had some success against in the past, including in the playoffs last year. You got Brandon Sproat tonight. Then you've got Jacob Mizorowski going, of course, tomorrow. Ben Brown opposite him. And then on Wednesday, Kyle Harrison on the mound for the Brewers. And then you've got Edward Cabrera on the mound for the Cubs. So it's going to be some great pitching matchups throughout. And you have your 3 guys who you're very much relying on. Obviously, Mizorowski, your opening day starter. Kyle Harrison's been one of the better pitchers in baseball so far this season. And then Brandon Sproat, who's had some ups and downs. Brandon Sproat, who goes tonight, is given up 3 or more runs in 3 of his last 4 starts. So this is a big moment for him, kind of a moment for, I think, him to maybe win back some Brewers fans a little bit. Say, hey, this guy goes and shoves against the Cubs. I think there's going to be a lot of Brewers fans that are like, yeah, we like that guy. That guy is one of my favorites now.
Yep. Cubs lost their series with the White Sox, so they're kind of limping in a little bit. But it's going to be a lot of juice in the building tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun. Now, Hunter, a lot of people were kind of disappointed the Brewers couldn't close out the sweep. My thing was, well, you can't sweep them all, right? You can't win every day. But the double whammy was they missed a sweep, and that would have put them at my first goal of the season, 10 over 500. That's the first goal that you check. That's the first box you check on your way. We want to win the division. You got to get to 10 over 500. And if you can do it in the middle stages of May, that's pretty good.
I mean, there's some teams obviously there's some teams that checked that box in April, but getting that cushion, getting the 10 over, always I say is the first goal of any season. And the earlier you can do it, the better. And I don't remember what day they did it last year. I know it was probably June when they went on their heater, but to do it now would be, to me, fantastic.
Yeah, I was going to actually look that up today because I was curious because the last year obviously was different, right? You were 3 to 4 games under 500 in late May, and obviously and you feel you kind of felt up and down. You're watching the Brewers this year, and it's like you get out to the 8-2 start, you lose 6 in a row, you got some injuries. Like, what's this season going to be? And now they're turning it on like the Brewers we all know and love. But yeah, that was so close yesterday, and I was kind of thinking that as well. Like they're if they can get this right on May 17th, that's going to be really good to get 10 games over. Heck, they would have been a half game out yesterday if they would have just came through in one of those chances with those guys. But they still have a chance to take over first in the division if they can. You got
to think that might be the right time to hit the Cubs, to get the Cubs. I hope so.
Yeah.
To me, 10 over is more important at this point than first place.
Sure. If my math is correct and my tracking is June 27th was the first time the Brewers went over 10 games over 500 a year ago, and that was in the middle of they won 9 of 10.
It's crazy.
Yeah,
what
and
they
were
did last year.
What were they?
End of winning 9 of 10.
They were like 30-4 or something like that.
They went
crazy. They went insane. They went on an absolute heater. And the reason I say this, it's not original to me, but it's I heard Joe Torre say it years ago that's job one, first goal, and stuck with me because if you're 10 over and you play 500 the rest of the way, you're winning 90 games and you're probably making the playoffs as a wild card at least. So
these days,
that's
funniest thing is that run wasn't even a part of the 30-4 run. That was the precursor to it before they even got Woodruff back, and then they kind of forgot how to lose. It is crazy how it'll ebb and flow, but for a team that has the consistent young pitching right now, I know everyone's going to be circling up on Tuesday. Hunter, I can't wait for Kyle Harrison to take the ball again. Like his first chance for the North Siders and their fans to be able to get a load of Kyle Harrison at a 6:40 start on Wednesday. I'm excited for them to see that new toy that the 52 jersey, because the former friend Eric Lauer just got released and picked up by the Dodgers. Looks like the Brewers have a real one in that 52 now.
Yes, and no doubt. He has been really fun to watch, and I can't believe that Boston picks up the phone when the Brewers call anymore. But we'll see what happens in the future. I looked at Durbin on Friday. He's hitting 172, and he's played almost every game. And it's just he is. So, but yeah, I'm really excited. I mean, what the Brewers have done, and I think it's really smart. They've ran out their guys, and they've had these guys make consistent starts when you talk about Harrison, Sproat, etc. But this time they said, all right, let's give these guys one extra day of rest, especially heading into the Cubs series. So that's what they did. That's why you saw Gasser yesterday. That's why you saw Coleman Crow on Friday. What they did is they pushed everybody back. Sproat could have on normal rest thrown yesterday. Mizorowski could have thrown today. Harrison could have thrown yesterday, but they backed them all up one day. And then you have your 3 guys who have been in the rotation all season long, Sproat, Mizorowski, and Harrison, lined up for this Cubs series. And they're all with an extra day of rest, especially young guys who have not, gone a major league season fully, making start after start after start. So I'm interested to see if that helps them. And not that I don't even know how Mizorowski could pitch any better, but maybe it does, especially even after the cramping. So that's going to come up tomorrow. But yeah, I mean, it's exceptional. I love also they do that. They back everybody up, but they're also using everybody, right? They know they have the depth at AAA when it comes to the starting pitchers, whether it be, it's been Logan Henderson, Coleman Crow, Robert Gasser, and they're like, you know what? We have all these guys. Let's use them to our advantage. And they against the Twins, they throw Crow, Henderson, and Gasser out there, and they win a series, and the one they lose is by 1. And it just continues to throw the depth of this organization on the pitching side. It's amazing right now.
All right, great stuff on the Brewers and baseball, Hunter. 15 seconds left on the way out. Your hero, Aaron Rodgers, back for another season. You don't have to say goodbye yet. You get to watch him one more year.
Keep it going. This is what I was hoping for. It'll be even more intriguing with Mike McCarthy at the helm. And maybe you guys have talked about this, but I got to think that with the NFL putting him on primetime so much, they're like, yeah.
Oh, I agree.
They had an idea. Yeah, they might.
One more
Rodgers
season's
is
going to happen.
By the way, in the building today with the
wired headphones too.
Yep. How about that?
You ready to rock and roll?
Ready to rock and roll. Thanks, Hunter. Appreciate it.
Thank you, guys.
Baseball pregame show tonight.
tune in with Hunter Baumgardt.
I was going to ask him if we were going to get that young lady from the bleachers in Chicago into a Brewers uniform today, but I wasn't going to leave him with those juvenile questions.
But
Those are hardcore, real baseball conversation with Hunter.
I also think there's a lot of women out there, Brewers fans across this great state that have that energy. So let's see if one of them can bring it against.
That's fair. Yeah, let's get one of our own actually out there in the Brewers sundress and talk some smack to the center fielder.
We're closing up shop. We got our Wake and Bake story coming up, presented by HappyPlaceHemp.com, and I got a good one for you, Billy.
Come on now, I love it.
All right, closing ceremonies are next on the Huddle, Fox Sports Radio, Wisconsin. Drew, Armen, and Billy with you on this Monday. Time for us to close up shop. We do that with our wake and bake story for those of you just waking up, or even if you've been up with us since 5. You know,
game ball to you either way, whenever you join.
Either way. But this portion of our program brought to us by HappyPlaceHemp.com. Rob and Chris have the best CBD products you'll find anywhere, made in Muskego, shipped anywhere in the state, and use the code Huddle for 25% off and free shipping. That's Huddle at HappyPlaceHemp.com. Drift seltzer, drift gummies, the potent 50 milligram gummies.
So good.
Favorite.
So good. The 20 milligram drift seltzer is my absolute favorite. That's the best grill caddy you possibly can have.
Absolutely. So I told you guys about that Chach clavicular, the looks maxing guy, the influencer who's he's all over the TikToks, and he's hopefully his 15 minutes are running out. But this whole looks maxing thing, guys that trying to make themselves look better and like hitting your face with a hammer to help your jawbone, your jawline. Well, there's a new one, and I thought this was a work, but apparently it's not. It comes out of Russia.
Oh, goodness.
Of course.
There are men in Russia who are having a procedure to disfigure their ears to make them look like they have cauliflower ears, like they earned them wrestling or doing MMA.
Okay, cool.
Because they always say if you're squaring up against somebody at a bar and he's got messed up ears, just buy him a drink and walk away.
You run when you see the cauliflower ears.
Yes. Jesus, take us all. I mean, I think at this
point.
But
according to Russian Telegram channel Baza, a growing number of Russian men are paying to have their ears deliberately deformed so they look like MMA fighters. They compress the ear to replicate the same trauma that produces the hematoma that is commonly called cauliflower ear. And this guy, the one guy's running a month-long wait list, and he's charging 6,000 rubles, which is about $80 per ear.
Yeah, not much.
Oh my God.
Every time
and
I
you
think
might need multiple sessions to disfigure your ears.
Can I?
If you ever think about my, future worries sometimes in this rat race called life, I like to take solace knowing there are people that dumb out there that'll do stuff like this. That maybe I could get a slight edge over.
And I got to be honest, I thought Just for Men was going to be when we really where we tapped off on like people pay to not have to dye their hair. We want to actually look older. Let me get some touch of gray. I just want to spice things up. Let give me a distinguished look. They just said, hey, man, give me the Khabib. Come on in here and make me look like a high school wrestler. That's an interesting tactic.
You used to get a haircut to get ready to go out for the night or for the weekend, kind of spruce up. Maybe a new shirt.
Quick,
why don't you smack me with a hammer and smack my ear up a little bit? Then the chicks will like, what's going on out here?
Yeah. It's like that's stolen valor.
Yeah, right.
That's the thing. You didn't earn it. I mean, the tough thing is, you're still going to get tested. I mean, like at some point, if everyone's walking around cauliflower ear in Moscow, I still think somebody's going to say, hey, man, step outside.
That is hilarious. So anyway, that's our wake and bake story. HappyPlaceHemp.com. Use the code Huddle.
That's dangerous.
25% off and free shipping. Just when you thought we couldn't get any dumber.
Well, and Drew, that's the thing. Luckily, there's still now Peyton Manning's daughter's getting into content. She's got a tiny mic asking him questions of like Gen Zers. I like that instead of, hey, let me see how weird I can make myself look. And then people are going to pay for it on the internet. Man,
wild.
And we thought OnlyFans was the craziest thing we were finding and paying for on the internet.
Craziness. Brewers Cubs tonight. We got a Game 7 in hockey. Montreal, Buffalo. I won't watch much of that, but it could be thrilling because Game 6 was pretty amazing.
Come on, Habs. Let's go.
Let's go. We'll see you tomorrow at 5. Thanks for hanging out with us today in the Huddle.
Peace.